Well, folks, we have been pleased to have Althea Glow with us throughout the course of the early afternoon here. And, of course, we are in the midst of the inspection of our American Gold Cup Grand Prix. That, of course, is going to be the feature event and the finale for the season in Traverse City. At this time, we'd like to turn your attention to the center ring area and, of course, the big board where you can see a picture of the great Mason Phelps. We do have a special award to present here today. And Glen Farm, the Glen Farm Trophy will be presented in honor of Mason Phelps Jr., a visionary and dedicated horseman in the sport of show jumping. A special award presented to an individual who is an outstanding ambassador of our sport. Mason himself, an incredible figure in this sport, and we're very pleased this year to present the trophy to Stephen Wild. To his surprise, he is there center ring to accept. Stephen is one of the most recognizable voices in the equestrian industry, commentating the largest equestrian events around the world. His passion for the sport and the success of the riders he's come to know so well can be easily heard via his unmistakable British accent. Growing up around horses, Stephen Wild spent his days at national and international shows, traveling with his equestrian-involved parents. His first career mentors commentated events like the Olympics and the World Equestrian Games. So Stephen has always been incredibly close to the best riders in the industry. Today, you can hear the emotion in his voice as he watches the stadium go wild at events like the Winter Equestrian Festival, the Olympic Games, Major League show jumping, and more. He's always willing to lend a hand to the most experienced industry figures, as well as those who are just starting out, with an effort that is never less than 100%. A sense of purpose and pride because of his incredible passion for the sport. We'd like to award Stephen Wild again, equestrian commentator and announcer, that Mason Phelps Award here for 2022. And a fitting time to present that award as well, so that you can get a sense of exactly why he's picked up the honors today, because he'll be taking up the next portion of our opening ceremonies as we tell you a little bit more about the test that has been set up here by Mr. Alan Wade. And Stephen will be joined by Norman Della Gioia, previous winner of the American Gold Cup, and they'll be going over the course here today and the specifics of that test as we turn over the floor again to Stephen Wild.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, slightly taken aback by that one. That was lovely. Thank you very much to all the team here, who we worked with for a few seasons now. Been great to see them. Norman's going to come and have a look at the course with me, as you say. Norman, past winner of this trophy back in 2008 with a horse called Malcolm. And of course that trophy that has that 52 years of history around it as well that you've mentioned there a little bit, Brian, and we'll talk about more later.
Hi.
It's lovely to see you here, Norman. Norman, let's just very quickly talk about your victory back when you won this. What do you remember?
I remember trying for a lot of years, coming in second a lot of times at a lot of different locations, but finally at I think it was in Chagrin that I got to go last in the jump off and everything fell into place.
Well, it was a fantastic victory. The list of names on there is pretty impressive.
It is. It is. It's been a great American class. You know, I'd say in the top three that all the Americans want to win.
Well, let's start walking, because we're here to do some walking and looking at the course. Starting off with this Captive One Advisors fence. From here, they go straight down to the Cabana fence. A little bit of a curve here. What's your first thoughts on the early run?
This to me looks very inviting from 1 to 2. One's a nice rampy oxer that invites you to get your horse in front of your leg and get confident. And 2 is just a very nice medium vertical that you have plenty of time to arrange.
Let's have a walk down here. So from this point of view, this is going to get you into the round as we're going. A massive class here, over $400,000 in prize fund for this one. So, you know, again, it comes. This is a big one.
It is a big one, yeah. It's one everybody wants to win.
So we're going for the Cabana Coast, the vertical there. We're going around what is the Major League wall that comes up a little bit later on. Now, many of that are not familiar with the sport will see the triple bar here and go, that's a huge gaping fence, that's really tough. What's the rider's take on this fence, though?
Most riders will be looking at that fence early as they're coming through the turn and focusing on the back pole and making sure that their horse gets a nice belly up jump over that to kind of get the horse ready to jump what comes after it, which is 2 verticals to an oxer, quite careful.
Let's have a little look down there, because you say over here, you'll stretch your horses out over here. You've got to get them back. We're looking at where the riders are sort of finding their spot from. Norman, we'll just casually walk down here, but while we're walking down here, tell me what you walked this as a distance and how you'd ride it.
I think this is horse dependent. I think some of the bigger horses that maybe have longer strides and are a little slow might try to get there in 8 strides to get there slowing down in 8 strides, and some of the more medium horses might decide to pull up, pull out, and add a stride there, because really the biggest trick to this is just to jump those 2 verticals well and then be in a good place to press out over that oxer. But they don't really want to get stopped at B and then not make it out over the oxer. So it's all about, judging what you're riding and doing what's best for your horse.
Well, let's carry on walking down there. But you mentioned in there about maybe adding a stride there. Now, that sounds okay, great. We made it a little bit easier to get down here. But what we're not putting in there is, of course, the time allowed. They've got to get inside the time allowed. Depending what Alan Wade, our course designer, has come up with, adding that stride adds a second could put you in trouble.
It could, but there's enough places around this long course that a second can be made up, and 2 seconds can be made up with just really neat turns and a little bit of pace between the jumps. But leaving out a stride to a triple sometimes doesn't always work very well. And again, it's horse dependent. It depends on the length of your horse's stride and how he's going to handle that problem.
Let's carry on around, because actually, as you say, he gives you areas on the course where you can make up time, and this is really one of them, isn't it? From 4 round to 5, it's quite a distance.
To me, it's a big distance between 4 and 5, and it's a good place to make up a little bit of time without being rushed, because right away there's a fence that's a little bit starry and a little bit awkward for the horse with these colored rails and the Liverpool under it. And then
Starry or starry?
both. And then there's a short distance to a skinny jump that invites the horse to look down into the wall. So the trick there is to keep the horse's attention on the top rail.
We're going to walk down to that one at fence 6, and again, it looks a nice sort of natural fence. This is the sort of thing you'd see out in the countryside. You jump a little wall, it's got a bit of stone on there. It should be something that should be fairly easy, but as you say, it's not, and it's full up to height 160.
It's 160. The width of the wall is on the back side of it, so it actually, the rail comes a little closer sometimes than you think to where you're leaving the ground. And again, the trick is to keep the horse's attention on jumping the top rail. This fence historically through the summer has come down quite a bit.
We're going to head over this way from 6th round to 7, which is the Major League wall. And from this, Norman, this is about the connection between this line here, because we've got wall to water to an oxer.
Right. So for me, the wall is tall, it's impressive, it invites you a little bit to override it, but at the same time, it's got quite delicate blocks on top. So I always think of, when I'm jumping a wall like that, to jump it more like a plank than a wall. And I'm trusting my horses that it's going to be brave and take me to it, but at the same time be careful over it.
You talked about overriding it there. Let's walk down to fence 8, because you can come over there. You talk about overriding there. You're essentially saying you just get, if you like, a little bit overexcited and start really going for it.
Yeah, those blocks over the wall, we think of them as a cheap fault if they have it down, but it invites you to override and dig in a little bit, sometimes too much in the wrong way. So the wall needs to be jumped, and then the water, in that order.
And the water, this is something really that comes out for major big classes now. How are you riding this differently? Because this will get you going forward, and then he's put a fence after it.
Yeah, my impression of this line, again, it's a little bit horse dependent, like the triple combination. I think it's probably for 95% of the horses are going to do some version of 7 strides. Either it's going to be a little bit direct, or it's going to be a little bit bending, again, depending on the length of stride and also how much RPM you want to jump the water. If your horse is a really good water jumper, then maybe you don't need to override it as much.
Yeah, you may be able to just balance that out. So 6 there again, it's the way that he links this line together that makes it difficult coming back down to that line to 9 there. You're going to come down and 6 strides down to that?
Yeah, I think, again, unless you're in trouble at the water, I think 6 strides is going to get to be even though it walks roomy, I think it's going to ride quite short.
Okay, so we go from fence 9, roll back here now to what we call a little bit of a skinny fence. It's a little bit tighter up here. This is a full-on height 160 again.
Right.
This makes it harder because they're just black poles, plain poles on there.
They're just black poles. You need to get around that turn and get plenty of balance to jump this fence clean. Pretty much worry about getting over this without touching it because it's so delicate, and then dealing with the combination, which walks a good distance, a very fair distance to that in and out. The in and out's a little bit wide jumping in and quite tall jumping out. So I think you'll see some riders kind of want to get there a little bit so they can start balancing for that vertical a little bit early.
We're going to then head on to the final few on course. They're going to 11AB, CP fence at 12, 13 and 14. 14 fences on the track here, Norman. For anyone, again, that's not familiar with this, that's a fair way.
It's a good ways around, and there's a lot of effort to this point. I think the B of this combination is delicate and tall. I think it's a fair distance. I think if I remember when I walked it, it was 6 strides, quite normal for most horses.
Let's have a look then. We're going to say CP fence. They pulled the water out behind here. What's the trick with that?
To me, after that combination and after this wide oxer, I think a lot of riders will turn quite tight to this to try to get their horse's hind end back underneath them, and try to leave enough balance and enough room for the horse to clear that in front and finish behind. And then
Final fence?
Final fence, I think, is a nice, it walks a little forward. I think it's going to ride nicely out of stride for most of these big moving, big jumping horses in 7 strides.
But overall, we got about a minute left. What's your impression? What's your overall impression of the course?
I think it's a very fair course. I think the track is very classical. I don't think there's any big tricks. It's just I don't think there's a real bogey jump. But I think it takes a lot of jumping, and they're big jumps, and I think, you know, I don't really like to predict, but I think there'll be a nice jump off with good horses in it.
Absolutely, and you've got a very good feel for this as always. The trophy's just behind us as well, this golden trophy behind there as well. Your name's on that.
Right.
There's a long list on there from Rodney Jenkins right the way through, Ann Kaczynski in more recent times. Beezy Mann, the 3-time winner, just walking the course now.
Right.
It's not a giveaway class, is it?
No, it certainly isn't. If you jump a clear round, you've had a good day, and if you're in a good spot in the jump off, I think you deserve to win.
Absolutely. Well, Norman, thank you very, very much for joining us.
All right.
Look forward to watching through the class with us as well. Do you want to give me a short list of who you think? Or do you want to just bail?
Not really. I think there's very few riders in this class that aren't capable of winning it.
Excellent. Norman, thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy your day. Thank you. Former winner Norman Gelajoyo, for all those watching around, thank you very much to Norman. And we're going to continue the build-up to this year's American Gold Cup.
I'm Danielle Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall and Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
I'm Jimmy Toronto. Unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall and Sterling for horse deaths. And I have to say that Marshall and Sterling has been an amazing, amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall and Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
And welcome to the American Gold Cup as we build up and look forward to who might be the champion in 2022. Joining me as we build up to this great class is Tori Billis alongside. Tori, very good afternoon to you.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for having me here.
Looking forward to get some stats from you. Georgina Bloomberg joins us as well, of course, competing in the class here and has done before now. It's a big day.
It is a big day. It's a great Grand Prix. There's a lot of history and tradition with this Grand Prix, and it's one I always look forward to.
Looking forward to how it plays out. Tori, you've been looking at some of the stats of how this might play out. Classes already obviously completed this week for the big 5-star riders. What's come out of that?
Well, we did have the Caliday Meter 50 on Friday, and I think that is a little bit of a preview of what we might see in this jump off for this American Gold Cup. Of course, Gemma W. and Daniel Blumen taking third place there, an incredible double clear. I think he thought he had the win there, but not quite. And I mean, just in winning form, so many 5-star victories for him recently with that mare. We also have James Can Cruz taking the victory there. Just an incredible performance. Such an amazing horse. I mean, I think his odds are very good. I think we also have some top competitors that didn't bring their horses out for that Meter 50 action on Friday. We have Carl Cook and Caillou, who have been on winning form lately, back in that top position, could certainly be a contender. We have Orfina, who jumped clear in that Meter 50, but Kent Farrington decided to withdraw, so did not compete in the jump off, saving her for the American Gold Cup. So really a lot to look forward to. Garant also coming forward, having not jumped that class and coming off 5-star victories. So it really could be anyone's game. I think those are going to be some of the top contenders, but we'll see which way it shakes out.
Georgina, different options there of how people are tackling in the build-up to this class. How do you build towards a big class like this?
Yeah, absolutely. With the Meter 50, it was a bit different in that it wasn't necessarily a qualifier. So you did see a lot of riders not bring out their best horses. So you will see a lot of new horses coming in a bit fresh for this afternoon, which will obviously play into that. I think you have some horses like Shane Sweetnam's James Con Cruz, which you said is in top form. It's one of the best horses, especially right now. There's a big, sort of push going in when you went last and you have won the class to be able to go in and produce a clear round today. There's pressure on his shoulders, but he handles that well. And he's in good form. Danny Blumen with Gemma W, like you said, had a lot of success recently. And Danny's also very good at coming out on the big days and producing. That's sort of his specialty. I would say Shane is probably my pick, but another underrated rider that's really in great form is Katie Dinan. She was not here to jump on Friday. She had other commitments, but she's coming in fresh, and she's been one of the most consistent, especially American riders this summer. She's very, sort of underrated. People sort of forget, especially when she wasn't here jumping in the Meter 50, but I think that her odds are very good. And she's also somebody who's, really special at coming out and producing on an important day and coming out for the big classes and putting in a clear round. She's
actually got a very good record here and previous winner of the National Horse Show Grand Prix as well. So, yeah, good pick out the field there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I really believe in Katie, and I think that she handles a lot in her life. She's a student, she's working, she manages to come and just go in there and produce good results. So.
Excellent. Well, Georgina's pulled us through a few there. You've been catching up some of the riders. What's been some of the feedback? And I know you've been putting them to the test.
We have, and I think one of our biggest takeaways is that some of these riders and experienced horsemen don't know as much about American Gold Cup history as you would think, and quite a few of them think that McLean's name appears on this trophy more than it actually does. So we're going to see exactly how much knowledge those riders really have. The American Gold Cup has a rich history with 51 years having taken place this year. 52nd year set to make history yet again. So we put some of our favorite riders plus one exceptional groom to the test to see how much they know about the American Gold Cup. Which horse holds the record for the most American Gold Cup victories?
I'd have to say Jet Run.
Sapphire.
Sapphire? Gazelle.
Idle Dice.
Idle Dice?
Another correct. What was the age of the youngest horse to ever win the American Gold Cup?
7.
I'm going to go with 7.
7.
Right on the money. Who is the only non-North American to win the American Gold Cup? It's one of your countrymen.
Oh, what? Kevin Babington.
Connor Swale.
Kevin Babington.
Who was the first winner of the American Gold Cup?
Rodney Jenkins.
Rodney Jenkins? I don't know. I wasn't born.
Who won the first American Gold Cup in Traverse City?
McLean Ward.
Ken Farrington?
Don't know. McLean.
It's you.
Oh, okay.
Who is the only rider to have won 4 times on 4 different horses?
I think one of these has to be McLean, surely.
I'm going to stick with Beezy.
I'm going to assume that was Rodney.
or Michael Matz, one or the other.
Actually, that one was Ann.
Was it Ann?
How much prize money was offered at the first American Gold Cup?
$15,000.
$150,000?
$100,000.
50,000.
Where was the first American Gold Cup?
America.
Tampa.
Philadelphia.
That I'm pretty sure it was in Ohio.
Who was the youngest rider to win the American Gold Cup?
Brian Goutal.
Brian Goutal.
Jessica Springsteen.
Jesse Springsteen.
Will I go for McLean again?
Who was the first woman to win the American Gold Cup?
Terry Rudd.
Katie Prudhomme.
Katie Prudhomme.
Who has won the most American Gold Cups?
Well, I know it's not McLean, so I'm going to go with Rodney Jenkins.
Ken Farrington.
I would say McLean.
I would have to say McLean.
McLean.
I'm going to say Ann Krasinski.
How many people do you think have said you for the answer to that question?
Probably a few, but not me.
Good thing is we all have a little more knowledge on that wonderful trophy now and who's put their name on there. Georgina, for you, let's get into the nuts and bolts of this. Who are your picks for the week? We've been round the houses with a few, but let's get down to one or two.
You know, I think there's nothing like pointing out that McLean hasn't won it to get him motivated to go. He's somebody who really thrives off of that bit of a challenge. So I think that, you know, if you give him a little bit of nudging, he's going to go for it. He's definitely going to be a favorite no matter what. I think that Shane really has to be the number one pick. Danny Blumen, like I said, and you know, there's a whole host of other riders, but I think if you had to pick the three, those would be my three.
We've left off you so far. What are you bringing?
I'm bringing my stallion, Two Hour Coal Mine. He's been super. He's not necessarily super quick against the clock, but he's been consistent. And over the summer here, when we jumped, he, you know, showed that he likes the footing here, he likes the ring, and he's in good form. So I wouldn't count him out.
Absolutely. Well, good luck to you. For you, Tori, there's a few there on the stats that we pulled out. Based on what the rides have said, based on the statistics, where are you going?
I think I am going to have to agree with Georgina as James Can Cruz in the number one spot. I do think that is perhaps the most exciting horse in the world right now. But I have a couple other picks for lower down on that podium. I do think Orfina and Ken Farrington are going to come out in strong form. They were almost a clear round in that last 5-star Grand Prix here. They just had a little bit of trouble at that last fence, but jumping in incredible form and, of course, winning the last Major League Show Jumping Grand Prix in Ottawa. So I really think that that mare is just an incredible form. As well, Connor Swale, world number 4, an incredible form. I think he always has a chance of being on the podium. He was 6th in the meter 50 class the other day, and I think that probably lit a bit of a fire to go a little faster. He was double clear, and it looked like he might have put enough pressure on, but I think that will definitely motivate him to jump a little faster if he does make it into that jump off.
Well, only one Irishman has won this so far, one non-North American, in fact, and that was Richie Maloney back in 2015. Will it be another this year? We'll see. McLean Ward is fired up. Plenty in there as well. The world number 4, Connor Swale. Ken Farrington, of course, amongst that top 10 too, and defends that title as he goes for a 3rd title here. Which will it be? Well, we're getting closer to finding out who will put their name on the trophy in 2022. Final stages of the Captive One leading rider bonus. Margie Engel, who's kept the lead for most of the season, still with a substantial advantage on the rest. Kathleen Driscoll, the closest challenger, absent this week, but she got some early good runs in to put her as a close top few for her. Shane Sweetland, though, has leapt up the leaderboard, sitting on a score of 50 at the moment. He's in town this week, as is Santiago Lambre, after a storming run at the early stages of the Tournament of Champions Series. Beat Manley also returns to Traverse City, a potential top 5 for him, and Samuel Parro always gaining ground. Will it be enough with the good results so far, or will it be a crowning glory in the American Gold Cup to lead Margie Engel to be the number 1 for the Captive One Series, the leading rider bonus for 2022?
If you're looking to go out, go up. To get up and go. Whatever you're looking for, you and anyone you bring with you will find it all and more at the Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. Get up and go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting closer to start time coming up here, just about 13 minutes away. But we've got another little special treat for you. As we heard earlier on, she has been with us here in the U.S. since the age of 20, traveling far and wide. Native to Russia, though, and she's been delighting us with some incredible tunes and her talent throughout the pre-show activities over the last couple of days. We'll turn the floor back over to Ms. Alfia Glow.
The beauty, power, and elegance of warm blood horses is no accident. A history of carefully crafted breeding practices that walk the delicate line of art and science has created a horse that is as strong as it is graceful, so that it may successfully compete at the most elite level in equine sports. Breeders can access an American Stallion station that provides both fresh chilled and frozen semen options with full transparency on semen quality. Set on 800 acres of Lexington, Kentucky bluegrass, Spy Coast Farm is revolutionizing the breeding practices of warm blood horses. World-renowned stallions with proven bloodlines that have successfully competed at the top level of international Grand Prix sport are collected by a resident veterinarian and processed promptly for shipment to a domestic breeder for a timely insemination of their ovulating mare. The experts at Spy Coast Farm are determined to improve your U.S. breeding options by taking the guesswork out of semen quality.
A huge welcome to the American Gold Cup in a sunny Michigan for the over 50 years of history that go with this wonderful trophy. Some great names that have gone on it over the seasons, from the early days of this great competition in Cleveland and then on to Devon, to the likes of Rodney Jenkins, Michael Matz, those Olympic greats, and in more recent times, Beezy Madden, Kent Farrington here looking for a potential third win of this golden trophy. It's been eluded by the likes of Margie Engel and McLean Ward, who look to put their name on the trophy for the very first time. Could it finally be their year this year? They're going to be coming out strong as well. And for others here, well, some big names coming from the youth ranks too that could well prove a big shake-up. It's the conclusion of a massive season here in Traverse City, where everyone's been enjoying the Great Lakes, whether they've been out there boating or out there just enjoying sport as a whole. It is going to be a big crowd, a big day, a big conclusion to a massive season here in Traverse City for the American Gold Cup. Well, here's what we come up to as those competing in this year's American Gold Cup. And it is a full rundown of those coming up, with over 30 to go in round one. We've heard a little already from Norman Delajoie of what to expect from the course. This is the rundown. The early runners, the likes of Lucy Deloria and Nanda, Georgina Bloomberg, Talara Colmine. The fantastically tipped Shane Sweetnam and James Can-Cruz go early in the order. McLean Ward and Callis looking to put his name on the trophy this time around. He goes sixth. Will Simpson, Chaco P, an Olympic gold medalist for the US, also in the early runners at eighth place. Carl Cook, recent winner too, and that was at the Hampton Classic with Caillou 24, will go in that first 10 in the ninth spot. And then on to 11th with Alex Granato and Calcian W, a combination that have got on to World Cup qualifying wins before now in major Grand Prix and also at the big championships, including the Pan Ams. Paul O'Shea of Ireland, Squirt Gun, very good record in this. Several top 5 finishes in recent years. Be at Manly, a World Cup champion, goes 27th. And then down to Kyle King with a new ride of chess. And Adrian Sternlich, Benny's Legacy, another with a good record here previously as part of the American Gold Cup. Katie Dynan goes last, and Katie, who finished third here in 2019, top 6 as well in 2020, also should have a very good shot at this, and she's preceded by Californian rider Nicolette Hurt. Let's take a look at the course of what to expect here. We're starting over the captive one-set fence on a curving line now to the Cabana Coast. As Norman Delajoie was saying a little bit earlier on, this should get them going, should be a nice steady start for them. But after that, it really does start to get tough. We come down then to the next on course, which is going to be the triple bar. For that, it is 1 meter 80 in spread, and from there down into the triple combination at 4 A, B and C, 160 in spread on the way out with a 150 fence at the last part. Round to the line of 5 and 6, the Premier Equestrian fence at 6. Well, in fact, it was the wall with the arch underneath at 1 meter 60. From there to 7 and 8, which takes them from the wall down to the water, stretch out over that on 6 strides, then to the next on course at the Oxer at the next part from there, from 9. Back to fence 10 after that at 1 meter 60, into the double at 11A and B, and the CP fence then at fence 12 with a 170 spread. Little kinder on the height at 149, but 170 in spread. Fence 13, the American Gold Cup fence at a full at 1.60 m, and the final fence 14 on the course, 82 seconds the time allowed, and that last fence coming up as 154, 165 in spread. It's going to be a test all the way. So preparations getting underway, and we come closer to the start of today's competition, and set to welcome out Midas Hassan Williams for the singing of the national anthem to get the big competitions, the Grand Prix, underway here. And of course alongside him is that golden trophy of the American Gold Cup. What better way to start off this American tradition here in Traverse City, Michigan? The next running, the 52nd running of the American Gold Cup. So we hand over to the arena team for the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, and o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. No, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, the build-up to this major class, and it is the start of the American Gold Cup. 5-star this year, $405,300 to be exact. In the prize fund for this, it is one of the biggest in the United States of America. 82 seconds the time allowed, and a very good field as we've seen from that start list as well. 34 of them going in the first round. Alongside me is Michael Morrissey Jr., who's ridden in many of these American Gold Cups before now. Michael, it's not an easy class to win.
No, it's definitely not. It's a very difficult track today. Alan Wade, our course designer, has designed this 5-star meter 60 track, and I think it's difficult. One thing we see Samuel Perot in there looking at that water jump today. We haven't seen the water jump in any of these bigger classes up here, and today it's in there. Alan wanted it in the class. And we got some big jumps, so I'm excited to see some great combinations coming in the ring today.
Absolutely. We're starting off with Chile's Samuel Parro, based down in Wellington, Florida, with Crystal Blue, the gelding, an 11-year-old by Chaco Blue. One that's not been with him for too long, but he's got a great record as a rider. World Championships in 2018, Olympic Games on more than one occasion, including London in 2012. And for this combination, they competed here last week as well as part of the series of shows. Ran for just the 4 faults, but this is another major step up.
Yeah, Samuel had a nice clear round on this horse Friday in the welcome class. He just jumps fence number 3, doesn't add into this triple combination. It's a vertical, 2-stride, pretty short. Scopy test out, he does have that front rail, the C element.
I was walking the course with Norman de la Joya, and he was talking about the ad down there. I talked about how that will affect you later on in terms of time. This is going to be where we start to see that how that will affect it.
You see that 4-stride there is awfully short. That's a difficult line. Has that skinny down. It's a delicate rail coming off of a very short 4, and then we have this Major League show jumping wall. 7 strides to the open water. There's no rail. 6 strides here to a skinny oxer. It's 5 strides to the 1. Should be 6 here to the CP oxer. Does jump that very well.
And from the point of view, it's what, 14 fences here. It's a long way around. Seeing the time here, going to be just over that time allowed, 83.89. So it's 1 for 1 these days. It's 1 second added for every second over the time allowed. Time allowed of 82. 18 there in 83.89. But as I say, a very new combination that came together really in August of this year as well. There, Michael. That's not a bad day at the office, really.
No, it's a difficult track, as we see. Samuel had those 4 fences plus the 2 time. I think it's going to be a bit of an endurance run. It's a lot of big jumps compacted into a short amount of time there with just 82 seconds. So it'll be very interesting to see how many of these horse and rider combinations handle this tough track.
And as I said, we've got some new faces in there as well. Lucy Delaurier coming in this year with Lucia LLC's Ananda. Mario's jumped this on a number of occasions to win. In fact, he's going to join us in the commentary box a little later on. But now it is to daughter Lucy with the mare by Nabab the Rev. She's already been a big player for the US as well. She was on the winning Nations Cup team for the USA last year in Aachen too, and has been a brilliant performer with Hester. But this is going to be one of the bigger tracks that this horse has jumped.
Yeah, absolutely. She's had great success in the past on Hester, and now she's bringing up some newer horses in the string. Probably the biggest track she's jumped on this horse to date.
Nice build through for this season, having competed in Upperville, here in Traverse City a few weeks ago in the 5-star there in preparation for the American Gold Cup. Rode that line well with the wall.
Yeah, super. That number 5, the Oxer, has a Liverpool under it. Makes you just want to override that, which makes the 4 very short. Lucy did a really good job of not overriding it. Does have a foot in the water there, though.
And that looked as that started to get a little bit short.
Yeah, that 7, I think you think about the water and you think, oh, you got to get going, but you have to stay patient early in that 7 stride so that you can ride it strong at the end. She does have fence number 10 down, that black skinny vertical. It's very delicate, light rail. Very short turn. She's thinking about her time allowed here.
Yeah, going to come home well for time by the looks of it, but it's going to be 8 faults on the scoreboard, 77.62 as a time. So time allowed of 82. In comparison, in terms of time, just look at the replay here of them at the triple bar. No trouble at all there. But this is a fence that's probably going to cause a lot of problems as well.
I think so, too. The distance after that skinny is a little bit flat in 5 to the double. I think course designer Alan Wade set that up purposely to be a little bit flat. It just makes you rush that vertical just a touch. You got to really stay patient there, then ride the 5 strides. But a very good solid round there for Lucy and her newer mount.
Another rider with very good experience into this class is Georgina Bloomberg of New York, jumping here in Traverse City in the last few years and at its previous staging at Old Salem, which was just down the road from her. With the Gotham Enterprises to Laura Colmine, the Australian-bred stallion. 12 years of age now by Coleman. Georgina, another terrific record for the New Yorker. She's won the classes actually in New York before now at Central Park, won the Grand Prix there, won Grand Prix down in Wellington, bronze medalist too at the Pan Am Games before now. And this is a pair that have got plenty of 5-star experience, so it'll be interesting to see how they fare here.
Yeah, absolutely. Very seasoned rider, Georgina. This horse has jumped some bigger tracks for sure like this and all over the world, so really our first combination that we've seen so far with all the 5-star experience together.
And the way she lands there and just gets away from a fence, just making up that time as they go around the corner.
Yeah, I think as the riders go along, they find the spots where they want to make up the time allowed. Unfortunately, she did have the front rail down there of fence number 5. That is a big oxer with delicate rails, and there is a Liverpool underneath that. And I thought she rode the 7 to the water very well. Leaves out a stride there. After the water to that oxer does the 5.
And as we were walking the course a little bit earlier on, again, there was a lot of that phrase coming out. Again, it will depend what you're sitting on as to what you do today. Alan can set his, it's going to be 5, 6, or whatever it is, but it's what's underneath you.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I really didn't think there would be too many 5s there, but horse has a very big stride. Georgina was committed to that 5. And unfortunately does have that last jump down as well.
Well, I'm going to take them to one time for as well. Going to finish on a score of 9 there, 82.6 for Georgina Blueberg and Talara Coleman. Having the fence down there, which was the skyline, the stars there, it's a very dark fence, not a lot to get the eye on.
It is. I think the horses can look down. There's a Liverpool under it. It's very airy jump. There's just 3 rails on the front rail of the oxer, and it's a narrower oxer too, so I think it's just 10-foot rails on that oxer, which makes the jump even more delicate.
One that's been talked about a lot so far is this combination. They were top 3 in the Dublin Grand Prix a few weeks ago. Shane Sweetnam and James Can Cruz. Just a 9-year-old, but has been going so fantastically well this year. Also part of the winning Nations Cup for Ireland into Dublin as well. So comes on the back of that. Finished brilliantly in the Rolex Grand Prix in Dinard in France. Went round for just the one time fault there. As I say, just a 9-year-old here. The gelding by Cannon. Back to also the line of CSF at Telly Cruise, produced by Frank Connors in Ireland. But this is the one they've all got their eye on, owned by the Gizmo partners.
Yeah, I hate to say anything too much and jinx it, but I think everyone's watching this horse today. This is a very exciting horse for Shane, and I think everyone thinks very highly of this. Just 9 years old, but already placing top 3 at Dublin and jumping some of the hardest Grand Prix in the world clear.
And for this one, I mean, like we say, it's a 9-year-old coming in here. Won a class earlier on this week as well. That gives you a good boost going in.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives you all the confidence coming into a big Grand Prix like this today. See, he does the leave out, does 6 strides there to the water. Made that 6 very steady, but handled it well. Really tight turn back on that vertical.
But again, that's where you've got to have the confidence in the scope you've got, isn't it?
Absolutely. A lot of scope and stride to be able to do 6 to the water like that, and then the adjustability to come back for the steady 6 after it.
Final fence for them. Time looks good, and going to get home with the first. The clears. Shane Sweetnam.
Round. No.
Oh, that was a joy to watch.
Sure was.
Well, James Can Cruz and Shane Sweetnam airborne over the water down there at the water tray, just popping up through there with no trouble at all, and really looking impressive around there. Gives us the first clear of this American Gold Cup this year. So an exciting lineup, as we said. That's an early one in the bag, and lots more to come. And well, we'll see how it plays out, but the one that's been highly tipped there is into that second round. So a little change around alongside me, and Mario Delorier joins me. Previous winner of the American Gold Cup in 2007. Paradigm?
Paradigm, that is right, a long time ago.
It's still on the scoreboard. That's the point. Lucy went round with Ananda. What were your thoughts?
I thought she rode extremely well. I think at the water, the box is very low, and I thought she ran out of space a little bit to really push her. And usually she's a really great water jumper, but some reason she didn't elevate that much. And maybe the vertical, a touch deep, and maybe could have been a better release. But other than that, I thought she rode the round fantastic, and she made the time. And it was very smooth, and I'm glad to see Lucy getting confident on Ananda to do those 5 stars.
Let's take it straight on to McLean Ward from Brewster, New York, the Beechwood Stables, Callis, the mare by Casal. Much has been made this week, even by McLean. He hasn't won this trophy before. Of course, he's had such success in all the major classes around the world. World number 16, he actually finished second with a different horse called Callis. But this one, be interested to see, because again, he hasn't had quite so much experience with this one, but it's been ridden by Annabelle Revers, but McLean is so good and knows the horse well, having worked with the Revers family.
Exactly. I think McLean is going very well right now. Yeah, I think it's been a long time coming for him to put his name on that trophy, but this horse is a very good jumper, and he's ridden it quite a few times now, and so far everything looks very smooth.
Mario, talk to me about this line here. We've seen a couple of different approaches, even Georgina Bloomberg getting down here in what looked like the 5 down there.
Exactly. Georgina did 5 after. She really pushed. She went way out to do the 6 and then did 5, probably because her horse, sometimes it's a little hard to bring it back. And a huge mover. McLean did it very, very well, well balanced, and now he's still jumping extremely well. He's watching the clock. Nice turn over here. 1 jump to go, and
time-wise should be okay. Just
very
gives
good.
Lives the last a little rub, but it looks good. So it gives us the second of the clears. Again, not a huge surprise there. McLean Ward and Callis into that jump off as well. So Mario, let's already talk about. Let's just wrap up McLean's round. Really nicely done, as we'd expect.
Exactly. Very precise. The balance in front of each jump, the pace, everything was planned to the T, as he does all the time. And he gave the horse confidence. The horse elevated at every jump. Jumped great. Beautiful round.
Let's take a step back. Shane Sweetenham, James Cancruz, your thoughts on that one?
Oh,
you were behind me and gripping the chair.
Yeah, this is a fantastic horse. We've seen it since last winter in Florida. Shane is producing the horse, he's taking his time, but the horse obviously has range, can leave one out, can put one in. The scope, he's careful. Shane is going to win a lot of classes with that horse.
You'd like that one, wouldn't you?
I would definitely like it.
You've got
As I get older, I like a little more scope and a little more range, and this would definitely suit me.
Santiago Lambre, Chaco Blue the second, the stallion, inventively, it is by Chaco Blue. Santiago, storming run here in the last couple of weeks, won 6 classes plus in the last 2 weeks here at Traverse City, and another rider with championship experience. One that could come out of this well here, and a really interesting horse, great breeding, but actually only has one working eye, doesn't it?
That's correct. He is, I'm not sure which side, but I noticed that the other day, now that you bring this to me. But Santiago spent a lot of time here, and this horse knows this arena very well, very comfortable, and is jumping very well so far.
He had a bit of work to do down that line.
For sure. The 4 is very short, and this is a big mover, and but he handled it very well. Santiago gave him a good ride. This was very short. Oof. Jumped the water well. You see this horse goes around. His arc is right in the middle of each jump, and it's making the striding work very well so far. Lucky there. Lucky there. Good ride on this oxer. How's he doing on time?
He's sitting at 70s at the moment, so he's going to be a little bit close to this.
Yeah, it's a slow-moving horse.
He should just about be. It's going to be a little bit nip and tuck, but should just be around.
Fence.
81-32. Has that last fence. But, you know, shame to have that last fence. Do you feel there's a little bit of pressure at that point going, I need to get going?
Yes, I think so. I think in the back of his head, he knew he was a little short on the time, and he was sticking with the 7 there, and he tried to make the last 2 stride a little more active, and maybe pushed him a little too much in the front rail there. So anyway, that's the name of the game.
That's the name of the game, and a man who knows the game well is another of those with Olympic gold medal against his name, Will Simpson, and Chaco P for the Californian who comes up next. Now, a lot of work for him in tournaments out of Ocala, Florida, based down there. The gelding by, again, Chaco Blue, a popular stallion as ever. And Will's one to really get in there and get the job done, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, Will's a great rider, great competitor at anything he does. Any sport, so he's a great friend of mine. We've, grew up together through the ranks here, and has always been a fighter. Great horseman.
Chaco P having gone well here last year in Traverse City in the series of shows that run throughout the summer.
This, as you can see, this is a horse that always wants to go. So Will always has to reel him in a little bit to keep the arc there at the front of the fence, because he would tend to jump too much at the fences. But he knows how to do that very well. Will's ridden a lot of hot horses through his career, and he spent a lot of time on this horse. That was well done. You see, the horse only has one way of going, and it's always going forward. So Will's job there is to he was anticipating the 5 there a little bit. Yeah.
But again, that's you want the energy there, don't you? But you've got to balance it. You've got to find something, a middle ground.
Yeah, exactly. You do want the energy, but the horse has got to let the rider dictate a little bit the distance and not overpower you. So that's what happened there a little bit.
Getting on to a score of 8 there, 81-15. Little look back here, Mario. Here, that fence is again proving costly.
Exactly. This is a very narrow fence, and tall black horses don't jump it all that great, and it's a very, very careful. So the horse has to let you put him at the right place so their arc stays in the middle. But Will's horse really took over there a little bit.
Carl Cook. Carl, who's also finished 2nd in this class before now. That was back in 2019. Sydney Osby's Caillou 24. Again, another big finisher here earlier on this week. He won a long list of Grand Prix here in Traverse City last year as well on the gelding by Casal for the Californian rider. And it's really been building this horse back up to the big time again. A little bit of time away from it, and has now been getting the full confidence.
Exactly. This is a very good horse, a big scopy power jumper, and Carl has gone a long ways with this horse. A lot of confidence, and he didn't. I think he didn't show in the Friday class just to keep him fresh for this class. So Carl counts a lot on this horse.
And again, as you mentioned there, it's a little bit of knowing your horse. Some horses are better for getting out more, some are better for getting a good workout on Thursday and then saying that's it till Sunday.
Exactly. This one is he's got good experience. Ooh. So
does not like the water.
Tough at the water here. I think Carl on Thursday jumped the water one time with this horse, and obviously for a reason.
Well, and that makes it hard. Okay. Yeah, I can say you've got the anchors are going to go on there, I'm afraid, and it's going to be a no. Bella's going to go. It's, I'm afraid, out of the running for Carl Cook and Caillou. Shame, because they were going well up to that point.
Exactly. The horse was jumping beautifully to that point, and this water seemed to be inviting, but I think Caillou kind of knew it was there. And it's a pity, because this horse wins a lot of Grand Prix.
Yeah. Nice appreciative round of applause from the crowd. They know it's not easy out there.
That's right. This is, I think people in Travers come quite often, and they're starting to understand the sport better now, and they know that not every day is a good day. So.
And you know every day doesn't always go perfectly.
Exactly.
It's horses for courses. And again, another really interesting horse that's coming down here, which we'll talk about, is Nicole Shahinian-Simpson's Hakuna Matata, the mare that's 14 years of age now by Quinar for the Californian rider. And has ridden right the way through to big 5-star. She's not the easiest to get started, but when she gets going, and I'm talking about the horse here, not Nikki.
Yeah.
Once they get her going, she is a super talented horse.
Oh, super talented, and for years it was hard to get this horse in the ring. But as you saw now coming down the gate, 2 people were walking beside her, and as she came in, so. I think through the years she's getting easier on Nikki and on herself. And this way Nikki can keep the horse a little more sane starting the course.
And you know, she's a horse with a great story as well. She got very ill at one point and so forth and came back. All of that, you know, and they're still back in there fighting. A great pair of fighters.
Yeah, Nikki's a great rider, always was, and a great partnership here. Won a lot of classes. This is a very quick horse. She makes it in the jump off. It's always fun to watch.
And again, this partnership has been together pretty well all the way through this horse's life, hasn't it?
Oh my God, it's been 6-7 years, I would say, at least. Well, so this is a little bit a similar horse that Will rides. Always wants to go forward, but a very catty jumper and a beautiful jumper. Ooh, that was deep there. Makes the 4 work nicely. We'll see what she does here at the water. She probably will do 7 and 6. You see the 7, how short it gets?
Yeah.
And if you don't have a great water jumper, they tend to jump up and not far across. But I'm surprised not more people are doing 6 from what they've seen in the class so far.
And you basically land off that wall and just get going.
Exactly. Land maybe a little shallower by the tape and then still be able to do 6 quite well, like Shane did.
Just going to come home on the 4, unfortunately for them. Just the 1 round, going to be a little bit behind the time as well. 83.48 finishes on 4 for Nikki Shahinian-Simpson, into 4th so far with Hakuna Matata. Sails over the triple bar without any trouble at all. And here, Mario, this is the trouble at the double.
Yeah, you see here the horse was already trying to back up from the vertical as she was in the air, and that's what caused the fault there. But the horse, I thought, jumped very, very well. I think Nikki will be, you know, quite happy with that. I don't think she's been jumping again for so long.
No, they've come back fairly recently, as I understand it.
So that's a good test for this horse now. She should probably go on to the next shows and be happy with that.
Another little combination that have done so well. They've won World Cup qualifiers, been part of the top teams, including medal at the Pan Am Games as well, is Calcian W and Alex Granato of Lexington, Kentucky, the Bright Lights Group horse. It's now a horse of 14 years of age, the gelding by Chaco Blue. And this has been another serious performer, hasn't it? Because again, when they get in a jump off, they have got another half gear.
Yes, Alex has won a lot of classes with this horse, and lately he maybe hasn't used it in many big classes, but I saw him jump the other day and he jumped really, really well. So we'll see. So far jumping really good, actually. And actually Alex, I'm sure, is happy to have him back at competing here at the Gold Club.
He said has had a little bit of period out of the limelight with this horse, and they look fresh and ready to go.
Little touch of the wall, little lucky. Ooh, boy, that's 8 strides there. 1, 2. Okay, he made it work. So his horse jumped the water quite well, even an 8.
But again, that's where you've got to have the confidence, haven't you, in your horse to say, okay, I'm going to have to do this. It will work.
Exactly. No, Alex knows this horse very well, and maybe after the wall he took a little a little strong. The horse really listened to him, and very good round from Alex.
Yeah, going to go around for, looks like just the 480.37 for Alex Granato. And I think,
he
yeah,
did
he
have
was.
the
He was
water.
in the water.
He did have the water.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, I thought he didn't have a fence, so I was trying to work it out.
So exactly. So I think the 8 cost him there a little bit.
And that's the difficult. That's what I'm saying about having the confidence of your convictions. You do the 8, you do something a bit different, and then it doesn't quite work out, and you think, should I, shouldn't I? But either way, it was probably the best plan for them, and you just got to stick to that plan. And if it didn't work, it didn't work.
I think Alex's plan was 7 between you
and
I. I think, and then he ended up taking him a little strong after the wall, and ended up putting one too many. That's probably what happened. But the horse still gave him a good effort. But I think when Alex is going to look at this video, he's going to say, yeah, that was my mistake here.
TJ O'Mara and Cassio Dam, a super young rider coming through with the horse for Caroline Blake of Westport, Connecticut. The mare by Luadam, the 10-year-old for TJ. I think he's probably one of his first appearances into the American Gold Cup as well. And good to see the talent like this coming through.
TJ's come a long ways, and he's riding with Max Amaya, and I've watched him all week, and he's riding very, very well. I'm sure he's a little nervous today, but he's put in some good rounds. See, the horse panicked there a little bit, because I thought he came in the triple quite good, and just like didn't have the confidence to jump the width.
But this is going to be the biggest
For
class,
sure.
this pair of jump for the 24-year-old rider. I mean, he won a good 2-star down in Kentucky earlier on this year, but that is at a lower level than this.
Exactly. This is, I would say, it's a big step up from a 2-star earlier. But he's doing a good job so far. Horse seemed to be. See there exactly what happened again. The horse, like, he had a good distance on the oxer, but saw the vertical come quickly and kind of put the legs down too early. Okay.
Well, finishes with a score of 24 in the end. It's 4 for each of those fences down, 81, 1-5. But, I mean, you've been in that position the other way around back in the early part of your career. It's not the end of the world, it's where you build from.
Exactly. That's how you get your start, and for me it's a long time ago. It's already like 40 years ago, or even more.
You're what, the youngest winner of the World Cup final?
I am. I was, and I still am. Still am.
The next day you got older,
That's
so
right,
it keeps rolling on, but you still hold on to that one. Callie Schott and Garen, winners of the 5-star Grand Prix here in Traverse City back into August of this year, and with the Southern Archers, Garant, the gelding by Warrant, and actually was a horse that Beezy Madden rode to win the American Gold Cup in 2019. Callie, who's training with Beezy and with John Madden. Beezy, of course, is a multiple Olympic gold medalist as well. And the partnership that Callie's built up with his horse has been really very good, very fast, and again, building on that win from back into August.
Oh, for sure. I think Callie's a really good rider. She works super hard at it. I even train at the gym with Callie with a trainer 3 times a week in Florida, and she loves the sport, and she's done a great job with this horse. This is a fantastic jumper. Maybe not the easiest to ride, but they're really learning together. Oh, that was really cheap. Just drug her a little deep there. But she won a good class here this summer, and she's building a string of horses also that are really, really good.
I think the signal goes up. Yes, it does from the water there.
It did. She got stuck a bit at the wall, and I think she still did 8 stride too, and the horse jumped too high there over the water. Very good line here.
But again, for her, it's good to get into these classes. It's the first year she's really been doing the classes at this level.
Exactly. She's ridden, most of her adult life, and but she's got the chance now. She has a very good owner, and she got many good horses that can do this, and she's really like working hard at it, and she deserves all the credit all the winning she does. It's very good.
So let's just remind you, 2 clears so far: Shane Sweetnam, James Can Cruz, that's the name of the horse, and McLean Ward and Callis is the clears so far. Alex Granato, in fact, went into 3rd with the fastest 4 faults on Callis W at 80.37. Santiago Lamry in 4th, and Nicky Shinian Simpson top 5 at the moment. Daniel Blumen, Gemma W for the world number 14 now. Finished 3rd back in 2015, not on this horse. This is an 11-year-old grey mare by Luadan, was recently 2nd in the Grand Prix at the Hampton Classic, has won some major Grand Prix as well. Daniel, a multiple Olympian as well, based up near New York, and this could be a danger to the James Can Cruz horse.
Correct. This horse and Daniel have been very good the last, I would say, the last 2 months. They won a few Grand Prix and was 2nd in the Hamptons, and very consistent, and they know each other very well. And it's a quick horse in a jump off. Oh, a little.
Daniel, who's had a very good run in the shows in Canada recently as well, but on the 4. And again, different strategy now, because somebody like this, Daniel knows this is a big money class. I'm on 4 still in the money. Get going.
Exactly. You saw him right after his fault. He turned right back to the wall, got that line done, turned right back to the skinny. Oh, now he's...
But that's the danger.
That's the danger. But you know what? Might as well go for it and try to get a good piece, like you say. This is a $400,000 class, so why not?
Well, doesn't quite work out for them. Started well, but I'm afraid at the latter part of the course, not really happening for them. So deciding to retire there for Daniel Blumen and Gemma W. Well, I think there might be a little sigh of relief from Shane Sweetnam for that one.
Yes, I'm sure. But, you know, McLean's in there, Shane's in there. Probably, I could have probably picked those 2 to go clear before the class started. So they'll probably have a few others. Connor Swell is coming. So there's a couple, still some good horses coming up.
Yeah, coming up towards the halfway stage of the first round of this American Gold Cup. Hunter Holloway of Kansas, the Hayes Investment Corporation, Peter Conspita, World Cup qualifying winning combinations in Las Vegas, went to the World Cup finals again this year, finished well there in Leipzig back into 2022, feels a long time ago now, but they've been jumping some serious tracks and going so consistently. This could be another grey to come out of the pack.
Exactly. Hunter did well last week. I think she was in Saugerties.
Yes.
She won there, and she's getting a lot of clear rounds with this horse.
You were just having a look over the page at what's coming up. I'm just going to put you on the spot a second, and who else you're thinking of that can play a part in this yet?
Oh, that was an unlucky rail over here. Horse kind of just jumped at it a little bit, didn't finish behind. On the second page, obviously, there's Ken Farrington that's going to be coming up. Has a good chance. His horse is jumping well. Beat Mandley, Adrian's horse also jumping well. Sternlick. There's a few there that I could see jumping clear. But the course is demanding. It's not so easy.
And Alan Way, the course designer, he's from Ireland. He built the courses at the World Equestrian Games. You know, he's very good at just, you walk a course and think, okay, and then you start to find out what's sort of secretly underneath there.
Exactly. And then once a few rounds don't go so well, then the riders start to think about it a little more, and then it kind of goes that way. So yeah, Alan is a fantastic course designer. We really enjoy his work here.
On the 8. And just going to be inside the time at 80.49. Time allowed of 82, just to remind you that. 2 down for Hunter Holloway this time. Tough when it's an early one like this.
Yes, that's as a rider, when you start and you have first or second fence down, it's a long ways around. And to keep it there, it takes a lot of, you know, a lot of work, and try to change your mindset a little bit. Got to keep it at 4, and when you ride enough on Nations Cup, you learn to deal with that type of stuff, because that's the game and the difficulty.
Absolutely. Well, Rally Hyla now, and Rally 23-year-old that comes up now from Boston, Massachusetts. Kurt Hyla's Obora's Chloe, the mare by Chaco Blue. She's been competing over in Europe this summer as well, been competing out in France and in Belgium. But again, this is going to be the biggest track that this pairing have taken on before.
Yes,
now.
I think so. I think she did some shows. Actually, I was with her in Deauville during the World Equestrian Game, and she did quite well there. But this is for sure the biggest track she's jumped so far. She's doing great.
Former rider
really
of
good.
Marlon Zanatelli, in fact, who's up there in the top few in the world.
Oh, very good ride there. Oh, a little close there. I think right after the Liverpool, she wasn't on the brake fast enough. So and there again too. She got away with it. Good 6. Very good there.
Yeah.
Very, very good. You can see the horse is has a lot of experience, and she's basically, you know, staying quiet and doing the right thing. The horses really jump well for her today. Good round.
Yeah, I'm just going to add one for time there, finishing on the 5:82.97 for Rally Hyla and Obora's Chloe. I think we're going to head into a break. Mario, thank you very much for joining us. Former winner of the American Gold Cup. We'll see who's going to win this year. We've got 2 contenders already in there with Shane Sweetnam and McLean Ward as well. I'll just remind you on those standings in a second, but we're going to let you get back to the day job. Mario, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Stephen, for having me.
Pleasure. Always a pleasure. You joined us for the American Gold Cup here in Michigan. Those are the 2 clears so far, Shane Sweetnam and McLean Ward. And we're also going to catch up with Shane Sweetnam in any second now, who is down with Hannah to get his thoughts on how it went with James Cancruz. An exciting class well underway.
Well, Shane, congratulations. A great clear and one of only 2 clears in this competition so far. How's the course riding out there?
Yeah, Alan has done a great job. I think it's very tough but fair. You know, the Gold Cup is obviously one of the major Grand Prix in America every year, so we weren't ever expecting a lot of clear. I think he did a great job, and it's really, really high standard of jumping so far.
And would you say this is a ring and a course that suits your horse?
Yeah, this is the first week he's jumped here. Obviously, he's had a lot of mileage this summer. He's still learning. He's still only a 9-year-old. He likes to jump big jumps, so it's the way he jumped the first round. I'd say yes, but we'll see about the jump off.
I mean, some people have said this week that you're sitting on one of the most exciting horses in the world right now. Does that give you a bit of confidence? I know you say he's only a 9-year-old, but this horse is pretty on form.
Yeah, but you know, the other day when I won, I had a good draw. I was late to go, where now I'm going to be going from the front. As I said, he's still learning. That was the fastest I've gone with him. He is fantastic, and hopefully we can set the standard and hopefully be at the top at the end.
Going for a clear in the jump off?
Yes, and fast.
Best of luck. Can't wait to see you there.
Thank you.
Okay. Lovely. Thank you very much.
Premier Equestrian, the #1 choice for footing products. Premier Equestrian, footing products that improve performance. Premier Equestrian, footing products for cushion and stability. Call 800-611-6109 or visit premierequestrian.com.
The beauty, power, and elegance of warm blood horses is no accident. A history of carefully crafted breeding practices that walk the delicate line of art and science has created a horse that is as strong as it is graceful, so that it may successfully compete at the most elite level in equine sports. Breeders can access an American Stallion station that provides both fresh chilled and frozen semen options with full transparency on semen quality. Set on 800 acres of Lexington, Kentucky bluegrass, Spy Coast Farm is revolutionizing the breeding practices of warm blood horses. World-renowned stallions with proven bloodlines that have successfully competed at the top level of international Grand Prix sport are collected by a resident veterinarian and processed promptly for shipment to a domestic breeder for a timely insemination of their ovulating mare. The experts at Spy Coast Farm are determined to improve your U.S. breeding options by taking the guesswork out of semen quality.
The American Gold Cup. Over 50 years of history. A trophy that from its early origins in Cleveland has toured the country. From Florida to Pennsylvania, New York, and to a new home in Michigan. The early years dominated by household names Rodney Jenkins and Michael Matz. Big fences, big crowds and big rewards for winning this prestigious title. The 90s saw new faces and new venues, dominated by US Olympic medalist Ann Kaczynski. And the latest additions and more golden Olympic stars, Beezy Mann and Ken Farrington, and the latest running saw the stylish Brianne Gautal lift the trophy for a second time. A golden age of riders lifting the golden trophy.
Well, coming out of our
Well, as you can see, some of those combinations left to come into the second half of round one of the American Gold Cup. Alberto Michan, a multiple Olympian, yet to go. Connor Swale, Ken Farrington, Mark Blumen, Lacey Gilbertson, Ashley Bond, another Olympian in there. Paul O'Shea with a very good record. World Cup champion before now, be it Manley and Desari, and Juan Ortiz later on into the order with Kinky Boy. Still a few more to come on the end of that as well to complete the first round. But as Mario was saying, still a strong group yet to come on round one of this American Gold Cup. And as you can see by the final few in there, Adrian Sternlich, Benny's Legacy, Nicola Hertz and Chateau 7, Katie Dynan and Borrego R and B as the last to go in the lineup here. And as we mentioned a little bit earlier on, they've got a good record, finishing third in 2019 when staged at Old Salem on the field there. Now in its new home here in Michigan for the American Gold Cup here in Traverse City. And it is well underway with those two clears to date, with Shane Sweetnam and McLean Ward as the clears so far. Well, blue skies just beyond the Great Lakes here in Traverse City. The course designing team, led by Alan Wade, assisted by Nick Granite, just walking out of shot there. And just the final touches there, making sure everything is absolutely spot on. The conditions absolutely perfect this afternoon here in Traverse City for this American Gold Cup. Next one making their way down. And as we've mentioned, the wonderful history of this trophy going back to 1970 with Conrad Homfeld and Act 1 as the winner there. The youngest ever winner at 18 years of age, but after that, the great Rodney Jenkins, amongst others, Ann Kaczynski, a 4-time winner on 4 different horses, have all won the American Gold Cup. And still previous winners to come, like Ken Farrington, who's won on 2 occasions now, winning here in 2020. And those that have gone close as well, including Katie Dine, could they be lifted up this time? Paul O'Shea actually was second last year as well. He's in the frame and ready to be a part of what comes up later on into the first round here too. So moments away from resuming here in Traverse City as part of this conclusion of the season. And Alberto Micha making his way down. Alberto with Nabal de Trevera, the gelding by Nabab the Rev. Again, a rider who's competed through to Olympic level. In fact, has been top 20 at the Olympic Games before now as well. And continues with a strong field. He's based over in California these days. And back alongside me is Michael Morrissey Jr. to talk us through. McLean Ward in the background there, just contemplating things on the side of the ring, just getting a little shot of him on the side there. Lots to contemplate here, Michael, so far from what we've seen. You've rejoined, but we're still at 2 clears.
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult track out there. Alan Wade's built a big one, but 2 very good clear rounds from Shane Sweetnam and McLean Ward. We'll see Abby Michon here, see what he can do, if he can make it 3.
Yeah, 5th at the Olympic Games in London, 3 World Championships behind him as well. Riding for Israel. Been based here in the US for a little while now. This triple combination has ridden pretty well.
Yeah, light rub there at sea, but it hasn't been so much of a problem. It's early on in the course. I don't think Alan really wanted the triple to be too much problem. He's got plenty of other jumps like number 5 there that's causing some problems.
For you, seeing the starry skyline there as the fence, you know, it's all very pretty, but it's not an easy fence to ride because there's not a lot to get the eye on.
It's not, and they're 10-foot rails. It's very airy. There's Liverpool under it, and you got to think you're coming from the triple combination, and it's quite a bit of time to get there. So I think, you know, the riders are thinking about time allowed and maybe just rushing that jump a touch. Back rail coming down on the Oxer coming into that combination, fence number 11A.
And I think we should reiterate there that's a 170 spread on that Oxer.
It's a big Oxer, and it's on a bit of a tricky distance too. It's a bit of a flat 5 coming off of that skinny vertical.
Yeah, it drops down to a score of 16 in total, 81.78 there. Unfortunately for them, again, one of the bigger tracks that this pairing has jumped. That double, as I say, you would just see that one coming down. 10 to 11 there, you obviously got to have plenty of power to get across that 170 Oxer.
You certainly do, and you have to have plenty of power, and you have to. Horses are thinking about the B element, so sometimes they're sitting back on that back rail. The Oxer preparing for B, so your horses really have to finish A, then get ready and set back and jump B.
Connor Swale now, world number 4 highest ranked rider in today's class as well. The Irish rider based in the US too. Vital Chance de la Roque, the gelding by Demond de Saint-Méry, and if I list his wins this season, we'll be here for another 10 riders. But they go everywhere from Canada to Spruce Meadows to here in Traverse City to many, many more throughout the season. He's been on an absolute burn-up this year, hasn't he?
Yeah, there is no rider hotter than Connor Swale this year. He has so many, like you said, so many wins across the world. Very, very strong. I'd say many would expect him to be our 3rd clear round today.
Yep. Again, Vital Chance that finished second in the recent 5-star Grand Prix in Ottawa. There's a balance, I suppose, between expectation and confidence at this point of the year for you, if you're going like Connor is.
I think the best riders are all confident, very confident riders. You have to be confident. I think that confident turns into wins. So when you're on a winning streak, it's very nice because it keeps you confident, keeps you coming back, and it's only a benefit for the next classes moving forward. You know, and Connor can ride so many different types of horses and really make them all into winners.
Again, you see him come off the water, steady up, and then fired again.
Yeah, he started to steady for that 6 and then realized, oh, that 6 is getting a little bit away, and he really had to ride up to it. Oh, unfortunately, does have that back rail, that oxer down. We've seen that come down quite a bit. For me, that 5 walked about 3.5 feet long in 5. For a smaller horse, maybe with not the biggest stride, it gets a little hurried.
Just going to finish on the 4 there at 81.37. It will put him into 5th place, so he's still in the money for Connor Swale and Vital Chance de la Roque. But you know, there'll be a bit of frustration for him there.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have loved to jump clear. That's a super round, though, very competitive 4-fault round that goes into 5th place. 4 faults today is a very good score with only 2 clear. But the tear that Connor's been on this summer, he would have liked that clear round.
Well, another one who has been on a tear, as you put it. I mentioned that in Ottawa that Connor was second in the Grand Prix. This was the man that was first. And it is taking us on to Kent Farrington, previous winner of this title, in fact, in 2016 and 2020. Kent, based down in Wellington, Florida, originally from Chicago. Orofina, the mare by For Fashion, a 10-year-old now. And it's been really a building year for Kent, with a whole set of horses to take him into the next few years as well, which is going to be exciting stuff. Of course, he's won major Grand Prix like Aachen with Gazelle. He's had big wins in Geneva before now, with Austria and many others before that too. And again, it's keeping that string going. But for a man who's been having a building year, he's still done a lot of winning.
He sure has, and it's been great seeing Kent up here for most of the summer, really building his younger and up-and-coming string. We've seen some of his 8- and 9-year-old younger horses jumping, you know, a lot of the 3 stars, and then he's got Orofina that's been jumping the 5 stars here. So it's really nice to see a top rider like Kent making Traverse City, you know, a mainstay here this summer.
And for Kent there, I mean, it is so much about balance, isn't it?
It definitely is. He's a very competitive rider, but he always has his horses, you know, balanced very. Had to ride that very strong. He did have a foot in that rider. Horse jumped way up in the air. It's a very careful horse, is Orofina, and just got maybe a little careful there at the water and jumped higher than would have liked. Yeah. Again, that 5 strides for a smaller horse is really difficult. We saw that happen with Kent and with Connor before.
Well, surprisingly, coming home on 12 faults for the world number 8. 12 for Kent Farrington. Orofina, horse has been doing a lot of winning this season, but again, a little bit of it's 10. It's got some experience in there, but hasn't been exposed to these big tracks as much.
It hasn't. I think he moved this horse up to its first 5 stars this summer.
Yes.
He's been getting into the 5 stars. This is definitely, I think, the biggest 5 star this horse has seen so far. So, you know, it's just learning the ropes and taking that step to the next level, which he's been pushing this horse to do.
Mark Blumen now of Columbia, and Mark with the over-the-top stables. Njortje van der Windhoevel, the mare by Farfel de Meuse for Mark. Again, been going very well with Marilyn as well. And so we saw Daniel Blumen a little bit earlier on. Several members of the Blumen family competing here this week. Brothers, cousins, etc. All a part of that. Based down in Florida. But Mark's been one for really producing the big horses through, hasn't he?
Absolutely. Very talented rider. It's really brought on a lot of nice horses over the years. He's a very competitive rider also. He can ride, we see him in the major league classes and the team events going very quickly. Unfortunately, does have B of that triple combination. Horse maybe just got a little quick there. Looked maybe anticipating the C element at B. Came back for the forced ride very nicely there.
Again, as you say, we've just got to mention there, it is a 9-year-old, so less exposed in this, but again, comes over the water and then he's got to get them back.
9 years old is, wouldn't maybe consider that super young, but for
No.
a track like this, that's a big task.
And again, it's a little like we say earlier, it's depends on the horse. Some 9-year-olds are firing and ready to go over these, and some are a little less experienced at it. You know, it's in that middle ground sort of age, isn't it?
Absolutely.
There we go, finishing on a score of 879.53. Mark Blumen and Noortje van der Wien-Houvel. Again, overall, you wouldn't be too disappointed with that one, Michael.
Absolutely not. That's a big track. I thought the horse handled it well. 2 small mistakes that I think they will work on and fix for sure.
So still with those 2 clears at the moment, Shane Sweetnam, James Can-Cruz, McLean Ward and Callis. The tension's starting to build up a little bit more in the stadium. We're not seeing the clears coming as easily as some might have thought. Lacey Gilbert's now, Carlin van Vinnerhoff, another one that's been going very well through the major league shows as part of that new series that's set up last year, now coming halfway through its season this year as well, with its own team competition. And Lacey from Lake Forest, Illinois. Seabrook LLC's mare here by Phantom Astamou. She's been a previous winner at Grand Prix through to 3-star level and again stepped up through 4, and this is again going to be a big one for her. But I talked about confidence a little bit earlier on. She's been riding really confidently with this horse.
Yeah, she's got a great team behind her. Trainer Shane Sweetnam and the Sweet Oak crew. Past ride of Shane Sweetnam, Carlin. So he's got some experience with Shane in the big ring. This is probably the biggest track Lacey has jumped on this course yet. I think this is the biggest track for a lot of horses and riders today. This is a very tough track Alan Wade built, but it should be. It's the American Gold Cup. It's, you know, one of our biggest events for the year in the United States. So,
and perfect conditions today as well.
It really is. It's a warm day, high 70s, beautiful. Footing's great. Couldn't ask for a better day to showcase this event. Lacey's really doing a good job so far.
I'm going to say really nicely down to the water there and just kept that good rhythm up.
And this, we'll see if she catches this and really gets up there in the 5. Well done. Rode that line great. That's been a very difficult line today.
She's looking pretty good for pace as well. Should be okay. 1 fence from home for Lacey Gilbertson and Carlin van Venhoff. This is going to be the biggest track they've conquered so far. Really good rounds, 80.62. She'll be delighted with that.
Yeah, what a great ride. She rode everything great. Horse jumped great. Perfectly done in just our 3rd clear round today.
So Lacey Gilbertson joining the list. Trainer Shane Sweetnam gave us the clears. McLean Ward with Callis, and now Lacey Gilbertson, Carlin van Vennerhoff. But they've sort of been building to some of that during the season. Like I said, they've been going up a step, up a step, up a step.
Yeah, Lacey's been jumping big tracks for a while, and great to see her jump a clear round in this American Gold Cup. Her, like you said, trainer Shane Sweetnam, our first clear round must have given some secrets away.
Well, he's got to go and beat her yet. We'll see. There's a lot to come, and this is another lady that could have a say in it yet. Ashley Bonds, these days based in Florida, but also bases in Hidden Hills, California. Riding internationally for Israel, originally, of course, from California. Donatello 141, a horse that she rode at the Olympics for individual 11th place there last year in Tokyo too. The gelding by Diorado. She also rode a different horse, Carolina Bullmore, to win the Rolex Grand Prix at Wellington earlier on this year too, with a superb performance there. Time is never an issue for this pair. They're always fast and forward.
I think that's just naturally for Ashley. She's quick on everything she rides. She's a very fast rider, forward riding. Catches everything a bit out of stride. Smaller horse with a big jump. believe Ashley did this horse in the speed.
Yeah.
The team event yesterday.
Which is interesting as a preparation, but again, knowing your horse and what's the best for it.
I thought so too, but I think maybe just getting this horse going forward yesterday over some smaller than this, not small jumps,
yeah,
but
145
compared to 160. Maybe it's a training tactic to get this horse going forward across the jumps. Unfortunately, that skinny does come down.
So again, she's going to be thinking about a fast four because Alex Granato's in 4th place at the moment in an over $400,000 class. You still want to get yourself in there because there's a lot of prize money on the table for it, but it is going to be 2 down for 8. 79.96, as we saw a little bit with the horses we were watching with Mario Delorier too. You start thinking about, I need to push it for home. To try and get in that group, and then the danger is another fence on the way.
There's a lot of money on the line, and a fast four faulter right now is sitting in fourth place. That's a big payday.
Yeah.
So you have a rail down, that definitely goes through your mind when you're on the course to try and speed things up and be one of the quicker four faulters.
Ryan, who's been a 5-star Grand Prix winner before now, Kristen van der Veen, Bull Run's Prince of Peace. These days based in Wellington, Florida, again up from more of the Chicago direction in the early part of her upbringing. Finished 10th here in 2020 with this combination, the gelding by Cardenio, the Holsteiner for Kristen. And now a 13-year-old. Of course, we've seen her wins coming on a number of different horses, including Faustino D'Attilio. And in fact, I remember back in 2020, she had an absolutely fantastic run here in Traverse City as well, won the Grand Prix qualifier in a list of classes as well. So it's a pretty happy hunting ground for her.
Yeah, she's a super fast rider, very competitive all the time. Ooh, a little rub there at fence number 2, but it does stay up. Clear through the triple combination. So it's a long gallop here to fence number 5, but you can't rush this jump. We've seen this come down quite a bit today. It's a steady 4 to the skinny. Oh. Ran out of room there in the 7 to the water, but she really fought for that last stride.
Oh. Another one. Joins the list, I'm afraid, of 4 falters, and now again battling for that 4th place. If I tell you 4th place is just over $40,000, it's worth having a run for. But again, the American Gold Cup fence catches up with them, so suddenly that goes off the table. There you are with 8, and actually she's going to have time as well, because she was just a touch over the time allowed of 82.049 for Kristen van der Veen and Bull Run's Prince of Peace. But to take you back a step in terms of, let's talk some stats around this. Winner gets just over $101,000. Second, $81,000. So $20,000 difference if you have a split second difference, pole down, whatever it is. And they say you're battling for 4th yet with just $40,500 on the table for that. So you can see why they pick up and go.
Yeah, and we've seen our last couple riders with 4 faults really try and hurry that last line. And that fence number 13, it's 1.60 m high with a Liverpool on the backside. So that's not really somewhere you want to try and make up too much time and hurry that fence. And we've seen that's been the problem with our last 2 riders. So really, I think you got to find areas where you can make up that time elsewhere and really just take your time there at that last tall vertical.
Different horses, but good results for Paul O'Shea of Ireland before now here in the American Gold Cup. This is the Eye Candy Jumpers Squirt Gun, the 11-year-old gelding by Diarado. He finished 5th in 2020. He was 2nd actually last year, and 5th in 2019 as well. So again, he's gone with a very good record coming into this major class. Can he go from 2nd up another gear here with this one? Squirt Gun is a horse that's again established itself well on the Major League jumping circuit too. Oh, and they just plain ran out of space.
They ran out of space. It was interesting because this is a smaller horse. That 4 is quite steady, but he's very adjustable, and I think that just how short that was maybe just caught Paul off guard there.
Ooh. A real scramble there, and Paul knows it's best not to attempt that next fence and just say thank you very much. They've delivered a lot of good results. Decides to retire this time around. Paul O'Shea and Squirt Gun. It was just accumulating there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it looked like the horse maybe got a little strong and mouthy and just pushed him past where he wanted to be at vertical. So I think he was working on not so fun of a distance coming into that double, and Paul decided to call it a day after that second rail coming down.
Bia Mandley now of Switzerland, the Grand Road Partners of New York's Desari. This mare by Veron. The horse is taken right the way through to Olympic level. And Beat, a silver medalist from the Sydney Olympic Games, World Cup champion. He's won the World Cup qualifiers in Europe and here in the United States before now, including in Washington. A class act of a rider to watch, isn't he?
He's a beautiful rider. He just looks like he's giving an equitation lesson every time he's in the ring. But one of our, most veteran riders in the class. He's got all the accolades you can ask for, and this horse and rider combination is definitely one that we could see jump our fourth go around today.
Yeah, the 2007 World Cup champion. Also came here to Traverse City to the shows back in the late June, early July. Kept a really good run there as well. Trains Katie Dynan that comes up late on. In fact, last to go in this first round.
Yeah, he and Katie were here for our spring series, I believe, at the end, and they really cleaned up, the two of them. The horse is jumping good today, looks very relaxed. See, he's going for that direct 6. Horse has a very big stride. That 6 was no problem. Very adjustable there for the steady 6 after the water. Here's the line that's been tricky.
Yeah,
They're either having that skinny down or they're having the back rail that oxer down.
No, I mean, we can talk of different ways they've had it down, but he seemed to cut up to it. Just looked a bit tight, or you don't see a lot before you get to it, do you?
No, you don't, and it's a very airy jump. It's 3 single rails, 10-foot rails. They're very light and delicate. They don't take much of a rub.
Yeah. Finished on the 481.034 there for Beat Manley. Goes into 5th place with Desari. So, I mean, he's still looking at a check for just short of $30,000 if he sits there from that point of view. But, again, we're in for a tough class. And that's actually where it becomes interesting as well, that 4 is a really good score on the board.
4 is a really good score. The slowest 4 faulter right now is sitting in 7th place. So 4 faults is still very much a top 10 ribbon at the end of the day.
Juan Ortiz of Venezuela now, and based down in Florida too. One with the Blue Trim LLC's Kinky Boy, Van Het Gildenhoff, the gelding by Nabab the Rev. Who says horses' names aren't fun? He is a rider who's ridden through to the World Championships in 2018. Also competed at the last Pan Am Games in 2019. Of course, the next running of that coming up next year as well. But, he, again, has got a horse here that's taken him through to the big classes. It's a big scopy horse. You might just have to move a bit with time.
It is a big scopy horse, but if you ask Juan, he'll tell you this is a very careful horse also. And you see, he's already thinking about time, how tight he was from 2 to 3. He was very neat and tight on that triple bar. You see, he's wasting no time here to get to fence number 5. A little bit off that oxer. Little tick there at the major league wall, but it stays up. So he's working to keep it just on 4, but unfortunately does have that skinny down.
Big jump over the water tray, coming home on the 8. And again, this is probably the biggest track this pair have jumped so far. It is a total of 8, 80.28 for Juan Ortiz and Kinky Boy. But as you mentioned a little bit, and you know, took off a bit early going over to the Starlight fence. You don't get so many chances to jump these big tracks. You get to jump them, okay, in Wellington the early part of the year, and then a few more before you get to the likes of the Gold Cup to really test out what you've got.
Yeah, I mean, this is very big class, and Juan's done a very good job with that horse this year. I thought he had a very nice round today. That was unfortunate at fence number 5. I think he was thinking about time allowed and just wanted to get up to that oxer a little bit more, but a very solid round for that combination.
USA's Andrew Wells, also based down in Wellington, Florida, with also bases near Chicago too. The Itasca Group's Idle H&H. This is a 9-year-old by Action Breaker for Andrew, who's finished well in World Cup qualifiers before now, including in Washington, a regular here in Traverse City, but on the 9-year-old here this afternoon again, and this will be new territory for this pair.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a horse Andrew found as a 5-year-old and has been bringing along as a young horse. He just started jumping this horse in these bigger tracks. He jumped Southampton, the 5-star there. I think that was his first 5-star class. Really hasn't been jumping FEI classes all that long. I think his first FEI class was last summer up here. Unfortunately has that fence number 5 down and 6. It's a smaller horse, but it has a very big stride. Yeah, Andrew did a very good job getting the horse back for the steady 6 after the water. One of our toughest lines today, that fence number 10 to 11 AB, jumps that very well, leaves that up.
Finished on a score of 8 there. It's 81.40 for Andrew Wells and Idle H&H. Again, I mean, a good test for this horse to see what you've got, isn't it?
Definitely is. I think that's a lot of what Andrew wanted to do this, get the experience and test the horse out. The horse is new to this. I think it handled it very well. I think Andrew would probably like to have that line back, just the 2 rails down at fence 5 and 6. And then other than that, it jumped a beautiful round. So very good for the young horse and Andrew to get in there and get this experience over such a big track.
Roberto Terran, as we're coming into the final throws of those going in the first round, still only at the 3 clears at the moment. Shane Sweetnam, McLean Ward and Lacey Gilbertson, the clears to date. And Roberto Terran is next up. Again, we're coming into this with plenty of experience. A rider who competed with this horse through to the Olympics last year in Tokyo. Roberto aboard Des Uchtov, the gelding by Calandro for the Wellington-based rider. Again, lots of experience in there. Rode Oklahoma at the World Equestrian Games before now too. This horse at the World Championships this year too, and a previous gold medalist at the Central American Games again with Oklahoma. So he's faced the big tracks.
Yeah, he absolutely has. It's great through the triple combination. See him going forward around here to fence number 5 for the time allowed, but setting up and not rushing this jump. That was very good. Really steadied for that 4 well. I thought he rode that line great.
Still on the clear as they come to the water. Steadies off a little touch at the pole though.
This little horse really does have a big stride. You see a lot of horses struggled to get up to that 5. He was steadying in the 5.
Coming back to this line, looking good. Is it going to be okay for time is the only thing. It might just Run a little bit close.
Oh,
It's going to be
just over.
82.07, going to put them into 4th place there for Roberto Duran. The crowd delighted that one, and then it gets explained, well, unfortunately, it's just a fraction slow, and it's a tiny fraction. 0.07. He's just getting over it himself. It's a tough one. You're going to be happy with your round, but it's a really expensive time fall.
That's a really expensive time fall. I'm sure he's very happy with his horse, jumped a clear round, but that's got to be frustrating. Just to be 0.07 over 700ths of a second over the time allowed is blink of an eye.
Yeah. Kyle King and Chess, new ride for him as well, one that was ridden previously by the likes of Kent Farrington, and also produced very well with Nick De La Joyo, and now they're part of the ownership of the chess group of Ocala's Chess, the gelding by Bufero Van Het Panishoff. Kyle King, who was on the podium here last year as part of the 5-star Grand Prix, as part of Major League Jumping on that occasion as well.
Yeah, Kyle went right to some big classes after acquiring this horse. He hasn't had it long at all. Big horse with a lot of ability, a very big stride, probably the biggest stride in the class, and a little bit strong. Kyle's a very strong rider, able to contain that. So he really had to work to keep him off of that. Unfortunately, does have C down in the triple combination. Fence 5 and 6 coming down. So I think, you know, newer combination, Kyle's going to keep going, get to know this horse, really figure out what buttons to push, get the experience together over this bigger track.
And that's the thing, you know, as we talked about a little bit earlier on, they wouldn't have seen something as big as this before. It's a super ride, a super combination. You go away from this and go, okay, we know what we need to deal with and how you come out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys don't know each other well enough yet to call it quits, so he's definitely, you know, going around learning the ropes, getting the experience over these bigger jumps, and come back the next time and be better.
Yep, total 24 there, 81 seconds is going to be the time, exactly that, for Kyle King and Chess. Doesn't quite work out today, but as I say, it's another step up for that pairing together. Kyle moving down that order, 3 well up the order, of course. Those 3 clears, Shane Sweetnam from earlier on with James Can Cruz, McLean Ward, Callas, and Lacey Gilbertson, Carlin van Vennerhoff. And that one time fault, Roberto Duran going into 4th place. Alex Granato, Cal Shandw. You can look at it in different directions. It puts Roberto above those 4 falters, but I know the frustration of not being into that jump off. It is on to Adrian Sterling now from Greenwich, Connecticut. She actually finished 8th here last year as well. And for her, it's been a good consistent record with Benny's Legacy, a horse that's won multiple World Cup qualifiers too. She was part of the World Championship team this year as well in Denmark. She also followed that, of course, returning to the team that she won a team gold with Crystalline again, which was the same horse she rode in Herning this year, a team gold back in 2018 as part of those World Championship winning teams for the USA. Plenty of experience here. And this, again, if they can get the jump off, Benny's Legacy is fast.
He's very fast. I think they have a very good chance to get into the jump off. Horse looks to be in very top form at the moment. His partnership has won many classes. They know each other very well. And he's clear through the triple combination, heading to fence 5. It's been a very difficult jump, this fence number 5 so far today. Oh, super.
Adrian picking up the pace down to the wall.
Does the 7 strides across the water.
Nicely done so far for Adrian. This is where it's found a few out though. How do they handle it? Good.
Super round. Time should be okay.
Yep. Looks pretty good so far. Adrian Sternlich looking to join that lineup. It's going to be close on time. I was going to say, don't dawdle on that first turn, and just unfortunately loses a fraction on it. Is, well...
I spoke too soon.
Yeah.
They looked faster than they were.
Looked good, but just on the one time fault, 82.8. Fraction slower than that of Roberto Turan, so they go into 5th place for Adrian Sternlich and Benny's Legacy. Roberto Turan in 4th place, Lacey Gilbertson, McLean Ward and Shayton Sweetnam still the top 3. 2 left to come as we head back over to California, and it is to Nicolette Hirsch with Chatu 7, the gelding by Chaco Blue. And the riders come through the U25 ranks and through the young riders to now move up a gear into these senior sections. Just raises the hand for just a moment. Just a little breather before getting into this. For them again, they've been coming through in more of those 5 stars for the Major League last season as well. Having jumped in the stages in Mexico, back into Wellington, Florida, with solid performances too.
Off to a good start. Time allowed. Stayed on that inside track from 2 to 3. Oh, a little deep, but got away at A of the triple combination. Does have C down. No, I think she just got into that line a little bit more than she had wanted. Little stutter step there before fence number 6. Nicolette did a good job of keeping on to that jump.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you almost saw that coming. The horse had a little bit of spook there at the arch under fence number 6, and then definitely got a bit spookier as he came to the Major League show jumping wall. Oh, good job second time around getting over that.
And again, for them, it's about getting some ring time in at this level, isn't it now?
Yeah, of course. You know, after something like that happens, you want to finish with a nice confident round. And unfortunately for that stop there to Major League wall, but the horse did jump a very nice round besides for that. Will finish 40 faults with all those time faults.
Yeah, it's going to rack up the time faults there, unfortunately, because those 1-for-1 time faults coming after that. So looks like a bigger score. Unfortunately, not the easiest round there for Nicolette Hirsch. But say, moving up a gear for them coming into this American Gold Cup doesn't quite work out this time. But a pairing that it has worked out for before in some really good performances. They actually finished 3rd in 2019. Top 6 here 2 years ago as well into that American Gold Cup is Katie Dynan. Katie from North Salem, New York, with the Grant Road partners at Brego R&B. Same horse that she rode in 2020 as well, this gelding by Nam Lassar. Now, when I talked to Georgina Bloomberg in that run-up preview, she was one that said, watch this girl this week.
I have to agree with Georgina, and she's had a great summer on this horse. This horse has been great in Europe and here. Say if I had to pick 5 horses that jumped this track clear today, I would have picked Katie on this horse.
Former winner of the National Horse Show Grand Prix, string of wins to her name throughout her career. Regular at the 5-star level. Also, as Georgina was pointing out to us as well, balances everything up from schooling and education that she's had to an extremely high level.
Oh, what a beautiful jump there over fence 5. This horse really is in top form at the moment. Katie's riding great. She does the inside track in 6 as well. You have to really steady for that 6.
Yeah.
Unfortunately left in 5.
Oh, and well, she's on the floor, she's up, she's okay. But unfortunately, it just came undone there. They were just coming down that line quite quickly.
She did do the leave out to the water, so she did the 6 instead of the 7, which her trainer did as well, but then that 6 after the water got quite steady, and a horse picked up in 5. Luckily, both horse and rider seemed to be okay.
Well, it does conclude the first round of this American Gold Cup. A round of applause from the crowd. She's up and okay, appreciated by all of them, but it is tough stuff. It's a brave sport, the sport of show jumping, and 3 will go in battle for the trophy this afternoon. Shane Sweetenham, James Can-Cruz, McLean Ward and Lacey Gilbertson. Here we go with the lineup of those. Carlin van Vennehoff for Lacey. It's a very big run for her here, Michael. That's a great result for her. Whatever happens, she's top 3.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy with top 3 anytime in this class, but she's got a legitimate chance. She's on a fast horse, just 3 clear rounds. So it's going to be a very exciting jump off here with Shane Sweetenham, McLean Ward, and Lacey Gilbertson coming back.
Absolutely. We're going to be taking a short break of 10 minutes or so, then we'll be back. We're also going to bring you a little bit of the history of what's coming up, catch up with some of our riders as well, and Ken Farrington's coming to join us for the jump off too. So all of that to look forward to. Former winner going to take us through the final stages. Thank you very much, Michael. Exciting stuff that we've seen so far. Shane Sweetenham, McLean Ward, Lacey Gilbertson, all to do battle for the title of the American Gold Cup here as well. And, well, a beautiful afternoon here in Michigan as we make way for what's coming, I would say, around about 10 minutes' time. We've got lots to entertain you with, and we'll catch up with the top riders in just a second as well in the lead up to this. And we'll be back in just a few moments' time.
I'm Danielle Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall and Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
I'm Jimmy Toronto. You know, unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall and Sterling for horse deaths. And I have to say that Marshall and Sterling has been an amazing, amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall and Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
When every second counts, the surface matters. Premier Equestrian features Pro-Tex footing product and Auto Sport base mats. Mats absorb up to 40% of the concussion. Pro-Tex provides maximum stability. Premier Equestrian is the official footing partner of Major League Show Jumping. Contact us about your arena at premierequestrian.com.
Premier Equestrian, the #1 choice for footing products. Premier Equestrian, footing products that improve performance. Premier Equestrian, footing products for cushion and stability. Call 800-611-6109 or visit premierequestrian.com.
The beauty, power, and elegance of warm blood horses is no accident. A history of carefully crafted breeding practices that walk the delicate line of art and science has created a horse that is as strong as it is graceful, so that it may successfully compete at the most elite level in equine sports. Breeders can access an American Stallion station that provides both fresh chilled and frozen semen options with full transparency on semen quality. Set on 800 acres of Lexington, Kentucky bluegrass, Spy Coast Farm is revolutionizing the breeding practices of warm blood horses. World-renowned stallions with proven bloodlines that have successfully competed at the top level of international Grand Prix sport are collected by a resident veterinarian and processed promptly for shipment to a domestic breeder for a timely insemination of their ovulating mare. The experts at Spy Coast Farm are determined to improve your U.S. breeding options by taking the guesswork out of semen quality.
The American Gold Cup. Over 50 years of history. A trophy that from its early origins in Cleveland has toured the country. From Florida to Pennsylvania, New York, and to a new home in Michigan. The early years dominated by household names Rodney Jenkins and Michael Matz. Big fences, big crowds and big rewards for winning this prestigious title. The 90s saw new faces and new venues, dominated by US Olympic medalist Ann Kaczynski. And the latest additions and more golden Olympic stars, Beezy Mann and Ken Farrington, and the latest running saw the stylish Brianne Gottal lift the trophy for a second time. A golden age of riders lifting the golden trophy.
Difficult course here. We've only got 3 clears. Tell us how you felt it rode.
It rode great. Alan just sets fantastic courses all the time. For me, it was a little challenging because the normal distance for my horse are really slow, and I had to do a couple of leave outs to try to get into the time allowed, but I wasn't successful.
Where do you think you might have had a little bit of a slower approach that got you that 1 time penalty?
I was a little slow rolling back to the skinny. It was a black skinny see-through. I thought I needed to take a little moment. And maybe to the last line, but I did a leave out in the last line, and I thought I was okay, and I was very close.
I mean, as you say, it's so incredibly close, but you've got to be extremely proud of this performance and really proud of the horse. It's been, you know, to jump clear around here, just 1 time penalty. Must be pleased with the horse.
I'm super pleased. He asked many questions all over the course. He was on it, and I'm very happy.
And what's next for this horse, and for you two?
We're planning on going to Tryon in the fall, then maybe the national show, horse show in Kentucky, and then hopefully Toronto, the Royal Winter Fair.
Well, we have to ask you, there's only 3 in the jump off. Who is your pick to win this?
They're all great. My favorite horse of the jump off is Shane's horse, but I'll be rooting for all of them.
Well, congratulations on a great round, and hope you enjoy watching the rest of this competition.
Thank you so much.
Well, Michael Miller himself with us here to present to Jacob. We'll have him standing for one more moment for the photographs so our audience, both here and at home, can keep an eye on this winner. And again, Jacob Pope, we've already seen him quite successful in the results, both on the Hunter Derby front. He was actually busy with Hunter Derbies during the start of our Grand Prix here today. Also, we've seen him achieve new heights in the results of the Grand Prix, both nationally and internationally this season. But it all comes back to horsemanship, and Jacob, for quite a long time, even since his junior years, has been known quite well for truly having an eye for taking care of the horse. Of course, that's what it all comes down to here in our world. So let's go ahead and give him a hand, the recipient of this year's M. Michael Miller Award for horsemanship and incredible performance throughout the course of this season. And we salute him on everything he's done, everything he has achieved, and again, the honor he is receiving right here today. Congratulations once again to Jacob on that top honor.
Well, there you see the American Gold Cup, this fabulous trophy that's been competed for since 1973. Go for the big one here this afternoon. And let's take a look at the course for that jump-off. Starts over fence 14 as it's put on the course plan, and that is going to be what was the last fence on course, getting them going at the NetJets fence there. From there, it is the centre of the arena to first part of what was the double before now, and remember that one had a big spread on there of 1.70 meters. And now that second part has been taken away at 11A. New fence 15 comes into play with the vertical at the next to the Calladay fence, and then from that point we head up to two parts of what was the triple combination, now a double with a vertical and an oxer on the way out, 160 on the way out of the set of swans over on that side of the arena. Fence 5 will be the next one coming up for them, so 4 to 5 as was. But from that point there, it starts to change around once again. It is then on to what was the penultimate fence on course, fence 13, and a new fence to finish off as well, as they're going back to that American Gold Cup fence, and new fence 16 coming into play this time around with the Southern Arches fence as the last on track. So that's the course that faces them, 3 of them to circumnavigate this top-class design of Alan Wade once again. It's been a tough first round, and those are the 3: Shane Sweetenham, James Can-Cruz, McLean Ward, Callis, Lacey Gilbertson, Carlin Vant Venerhoff, and alongside me is a man who's won this trophy on 2 occasions, and delighted to say joining me is Kent Farrington. Kent, sad to not see you into the jump-off here, but I'm sure you're fairly happy with the rounds as they've gone this week.
Yeah, sad not to be in the jump-off. but I'm riding a green horse. This was a very strong horse today, built by Alan Wade. You saw real width. So I would say it was built appropriately for the money offered today, which is $400,000, and a strong field of horses. So my horse was a little bit green at the water jump. She doesn't have so much practice with this. Went too high, and then sort of got a little flustered. I thought she finished up the course strong, good experience, and she'll grow from that.
Kent, the three we've got in here: Shane Sweetenham, James Can Cruz. Well, actually, let's talk through all three. Sweetenham to start them off.
Yeah, I think Shane's got an amazing horse there. It looks like one of the best upcoming horses in the sport. I would say he's taken it to some real shows. He went to Dublin, almost won the Grand Prix there, and I think he's a very strong contender for this class today. McLean is riding a horse that is kind of a catch ride. He knows the horse, but it's not a regular horse. I don't even think he keeps it in his stable. So, that's always a challenge. He doesn't practice like Shane does with the horse, but he has so much experience and is a great competitor, so you can't rule him out. And Lacey had a tremendous round, and she's in the best position, getting to go last in a small field. So.
So Ken Farrington there taking us through these three. Ken, your thoughts? You've obviously walked the jump-off course as well a little bit earlier on. How do you think this is going to play out?
The jump-off kind of uses the entire ring here. I think it suits a big strided horse. There's no real short turn options. I think if I was going to pick a winner right out of the box, I would say Shane is probably the heavy favorite, with it being a regular horse for him. It's very fast. He won the class the other day. I think it's in his hands.
Okay, well, let's see. Shane Sweetenham going to start us off with James Can Cruz. It's going to be McLean, Warden Callis, and Lacey Gilbertson, Colin van Vennerhoff. So, as we say, kicking off over fence 14. What was the only NetJets fence from there? And this looks like a pretty good start, Kent. This is where they've got to cut across this. I think he's narrowed this up a little.
Yeah, that was a short turn there. He's going fast. He's not going crazy. Should do 7 here. And that was a smart move, that got quiet there at the end, which is what you want into a short double. That was perfect. Now he's kind of on stride here. Again, not going wild, but it's a fast horse across the ground. He has a big stride. He's setting up that they're going to have to beat him. He's not beating himself.
Well, taking them down to the last, and looks like a good start for Shane Sweetenham to set a really good target at 40.42 for Sweetenham as the first away. With the Gizmo partners, James Can Cruz. They certainly cruised there, Ken.
Yeah, it was a good jump off. It wasn't extreme. In the last line there, he went wide to number 13, the second to last. I thought he was setting up a leave-out stride, which would have been 7. He opted to do 8. I think he felt maybe the horse wasn't totally with him, a little bit off to the left. Checked up in 8. He'd gone around the whole course, thought to play it safe there, make sure he clears the last one. But that's where I'd say the door is open for somebody to take it. They could easily drop a stride out there at the end and be quicker.
McLean Ward and Callis, different horse that was called Callis that he rode to second place a few years ago in this one. His father won this back in '86 as well. He's got a great chance here. He's not put his name on this trophy before now. We've discussed it much this week. This is the big opportunity for McLean. So, time to beat 40.42. Tighter there, maybe?
He's up on it, I would say. That's what he had to get through. Yeah, now he can go a little. This is a Liverpool oxer, so horses are pretty careful off this fence because it's imposing. And he just got underneath it a touch there.
Well, it's going to elude him once again. It is still a very good result with this combination. That's he hasn't really ridden that much. A really good finishing on the 4:41.71. It'll be a little bit bittersweet there. Can you see him just at that oxer there?
Yeah, the horse's style is a little bit open in front, and I think that making a turn. He's going for the win. He's not coming here to play it safe. Only 3 in it. I think that was the right move. It just didn't come off today.
Well, goes into second for McLean Ward. Shane Sweetenham leading with James Cancruz. One to come with Lacey Gilbertson and Colin van Vennerhoff. Now, interesting, of course, because Shane trains Lacey. But
yeah,
this is what you want to see as a trainer too.
Yeah, no, I think it's great to help somebody that's having success in the sport. She's in a position to really go for it here. I would say, let it fly. You have nothing to lose. That won't be an easy round for her to catch. This is a shorter strided horse. You can already see on her approach. Be interesting what she does to the double.
Yeah.
I would say that could be the bogey here. She has to get in close enough that the horse isn't underneath B, coming in too fast. She needs to step it up a little bit here.
Get square to the Calais, but as you say, maybe just cost them time there against
She got away.
Shane.
No.
Got
away with the rub at A and then caught it at B. And that was a little what I was concerned about on a smaller strided horse. You have to get close to slow down into a double when you're going at speed. And I think she's now has come a little bit undone trying to compete, but I think with only 3 in it, that was also the right play. Nothing to lose.
Exactly. You're going to be on the podium whatever happens. You've got to take a spin at it and have a run.
Great opportunity to take a shot because at worst you're going to be third.
James Cancruz finishes the winner there with Shane Sweetenham. Shane going to be the second only winner to go on that trophy that's non-North American. Richie Maloney was the other Irishman. So the Irish are having a little bit more of an impact there. But your comment on how good that round was.
Yeah, I think he did the strategy just right. I think even more exciting than that is that it looks like a real horse for the sport. He'd already had great results with it leading up to this. He opted not to go to the World Championships this year with a green horse. I think that was a smart move. It's only 9 years old, just stepping up to a bigger level, and he's doing it the right way, and he's being rewarded for that today with a great win in the American Gold Cup.
Second place again for McLean Ward and Callis. It is Lacey Gilbertson finishing in third there, Colin van Vennerhoff. Roberto Turan and Adrian Sterling's on that one time fault. Frustrating, I know, but still a good position, fourth and fifth. Alex Granato in sixth with Calshan W. Beat Madley in 7th place with Dasari, and Santiago Lamre. Chaco Blue will finish top 8 from that point of view. Ken, thank you very, very much for joining us. I know you've got your own show coming up in a couple of weeks' time in Greenwich. Looking forward to that one as well. And it's going to be exciting times ahead. You've got a serious string of horses to go into battle with.
Yeah, we're working. We're building. We have some young ones coming up, and excited to see what they can do. Looks like I'm going to have tough competition here with Shane and a horse like that. So the order is tall.
I love the way he says that with a smile on his face.
We'll be fighting.
Thank you very much, Ken. So that's a little bit down the order in this $405,300 American Gold Cup. We're going to go and catch up with our winner, which is Shane Sweetenham. Takes home the trophy with James Cancruz.
Shane, you've just said it to me, but we've got to say it. What a horse.
Yeah, an exceptional horse. Jumped fantastic, even better in the second round. Actually, I was kicking myself when I came out because for him I should have done one less to the last, and I was thinking I'd let the door open for McLean anyway, and luckily for me it worked out.
And you were saying earlier the horse is quite young. This is only its second 5-star, isn't it? And what's the potential like for this horse for the future?
Well, he's had a few, but this is now he's getting a run of them. Like Dinard, he was placed in that 5-star and then Dublin third, and now we're starting to go a bit faster. And actually, he's beginning. He knows and he wants to go fast. Even to the first jump, I wanted to wait a second, and he was nearly already gone. So I think he wants to win.
He certainly does, as you say, a couple of wins under his belt already. We also just have to touch on the fact that this is the American Gold Cup, a fantastic history to this competition. What does it mean to you to win here today?
Yeah, it's amazing. I didn't realise that only 2 non-American Irish people had won it, and they're both Irish. And Richie Maloney, who I'm very good friends with, who actually came to America with me, was the other winner. So we're trying to keep it in-house. Hopefully another Irish man can win it next year. Paul O'Shea was unlucky last year. He was second. So we keep knocking at the door. We're trying to break in, I think.
And of course you also train Lacey Gilbertson, who came third here today. You must be very proud of that too.
Oh no, very proud. It was a very hard course, and to be third in the Gold Cup is an exceptional result, and she keeps improving. I think at the start of the summer it was her first 5-star with her, and now already jumping clear rounds. It's a great result. What's next for you and this horse? I'm not entirely sure. I think Kentucky, the National Horse Show in Kentucky. We'll see. He has a minute to think about it, and we'll go from there.
Well, enjoy your celebrations and congratulations again.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hannah. Thanks a lot, Shane. And what an incredible season it has been here. You've definitely given us some exciting moments, including the one and only double clear from our American Gold Cup. Another exciting moment about to take place here. Of course, throughout the course of the weekend, Accelerate the Cure has been the beneficiary of ticket sale proceeds this week. And we're happy to also have those of you who have played a part in the Triumph Spitfire raffle, the 1975 Triumph Spitfire that's been on display over the course of the last 2 weeks here. Those who have purchased tickets in a limited number that were offered up are now anxiously awaiting the winning name being drawn. Lauren White, our marketing director here at the Traverse City Series, is turning the tumbler now to draw that winning name. A limited number of 300 tickets were sold through the course of the last 2 weeks. Just about to hear that winning name coming out of the tumbler here today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the 1975 Triumph Spitfire, Paul Glenn. Paul Glenn, congratulations. You have picked up a beautiful classic car here, and of course we salute you as well for contributing to Accelerate the Cure, benefiting those in the Alzheimer's community with research and support here in northern Michigan. Again, Paul Glenn picks up that award. Nicely done. Of course, in honor of our beneficiary here this week, Accelerate the Cure, who we're again so excited to be in collaboration with our Traverse City Horse Shows. We try to do all the good possible. The ticket proceeds going out to that organization today. $3,825 being presented to our representatives of Accelerate the Cure. Alzheimer's affects many in our world, and we do appreciate everyone who attended over the course of Saturday and Sunday. Top-notch competition, but also an opportunity to give back to the community, and nearly $4,000 will go to those suffering from Alzheimer's here in the northern Michigan area. Thank you very much for supporting us through that fundraising effort this weekend. Top three are on standby to come with us. The exact number that made it into our Grand Prix jump-off in the chase for that American Gold Cup here today. And, of course, they include Shane Sweetenham with James Con Cruz, who led the way for the win. McLean Ward with Callis coming runner-up here today. Lacey Gilbertson with Carlin Van Vennehoff in our third position. Here they come to accept those top three awards. Top three riders have made their way in. The all-important grooms have taken their charges so that the riders can dismount and approach the podium. It'll be time for us to welcome them on to those podium positions now. Again, the Morrissey Management Group with us. Ivan Rakowski also on board, part of the planning committee for the Traverse City Series. Lauren White, our marketing director. Hannah Kinlaw, who's been helping with production and promotions as well. And also Nikki Meyer on hand for the presentation of these awards. Well, top three finishers are going to approach the podium now. We will have our third place contestant make their way over. And, of course, that'll be Lacey Gilbertson, the final to ride in that jump-off with Carlin Venet-Venaha out of her family's operation in Lake Forest, Illinois, Seabrook LLC. Finishing up in third place here today. Earning our second prize, McLean Ward and Callis. Just a single knockdown there, 41.71 was the time. His Beechwood Stables LLC entry out of Weston, Massachusetts, earning him the runner-up position. And, of course, for the second time ever, a rider from Ireland will approach and atop the pinnacle podium spot, earning the American Gold Cup win, Shane Sweetnam and James Cruz, their second big victory here this week. James riding for the Gizmo Partners LLC. And what a great moment now as they top that podium and hoist the American Gold Cup high. Again, a trophy that dates all the way back to the inaugural 1970 start. And through the course of that history, of course, some of the biggest names in the sport have graced that trophy. This time, Shane, of course, a rider representing Ireland on the top position of the podium. We'll take a photograph here, and of course Andrew Ryback photographers are on hand to do that. And in just a moment we'll be honoring Shane's heritage and of course his home country of Ireland. Just get one more photograph before we ask our top three finishers, Shane Sweetnam, McLean Ward, and Lacey Gilbertson, to turn back toward that scoreboard. And those of you who are in attendance here today, we're so happy that you've decided to stay with us. We're going to ask you at this time, if you would please rise and remove cover. The winning country, of course, that of Shane Sweetnam, and the one that he has represented so many times successfully in international events, is Ireland. And, of course, it is our tradition to play that national anthem if you join us in the celebration. Congratulations, Shane Sweetnam, on the victory here today, taking that top call aboard for the second time this week. James Cruz, the only double clear, finishing at a time of 40.42. Again, it's McLean Ward in that runner-up placing with Callis, and Lacey Gilbertson in third with Carlin Venet-Venaha. What a challenge the first round was. Getting into the jump-off, of course, an accomplishment in itself, and today they have all three earned the right to toast the win and, of course, the excitement of this event. Let's hear it for all three of them, ladies and gentlemen, with that champagne celebration. Shane Sweetenham, of course, the rider aboard James Concruz, and he'll be returning to his mount to lead that victory pass here. Keep in mind, Shane, McLean, Lacey have been asked to join us for a autograph signing session here once we're wrapped up with the awards. We do have a few more items to attend to before we get to that, but we're going to get to that victory pass next. And Shane mounting up, ready to go. Not only does he get that winner's share of the prize money from the American Gold Cup, his name, of course, will be emblazoned on that pedestal here from this point forward. He also gets now another American Gold Cup cooler. Itself a very special award and something to carry with pride. Shane will lead the way for the victory pass. Congratulations on the effort. And again as well to McLean Ward with Collis and Lacey Gilbertson with Carlin Vennehoff. The only 3 out of our starting list of 33 to get into our American Gold Cup jump-off. Shane circling back around to the podium for one more photograph here today, again with James Concruz. Shane, if you would make your way back over to that podium, please. Give you a little bit more time to shine in the win here on Sunday afternoon, the finale of our series in Traverse City this year. Again, history making as the second ever rider from Ireland to hoist the American Gold Cup. Another photograph to be taken there with Shane Sweetenham and James Concruz, the Gizmo Partners LLC entry. And of course, as I mentioned, he's the rider of the winning mount here today. Salute to the owners, Gizmo Partners as well, but also to the hard work that is put in by grooms who attend to these horses every need each and every day from very early, even before sunup, all the way until after dark on many occasions while they keep them ready, healthy, and willing to go in a top-notch competition like this. Maria Israelson, who also was with us, of course, for that welcome victory the other day, deserves credit and will be the recipient of our Grooms Award here today. So how about a hand for the hard work put in by our grooms, and Maria Israelson being recognized as well for the effort with James Concruz. Well, one more item to attend to. Since very early in the season, back during the June Traverse City Spring Series, all the way through the July and August Great Lakes Equestrian Festival, and now our Tournament of Champions, which again culminates in the American Gold Cup. They have not just been chasing individual class prizes, but also those Captive One Open Jumper Rider bonus points. And upon the start of the day, Shane Sweetenham was in the 3rd position and had a good chance to move up. It took a win to clinch the $30,000 in bonus money here today. But if you'll remember, when we gave you the updates, Margie Engel was also in the lead through a majority of the season, due in a major part to the early season wins and some of the most consistent placings all year long. Shane did overtake her position here with the American Gold Cup victory today and is entitled to the $30,000 in bonus money, and he has already noted to us that knowing that Margie Engel currently dealing with some health issues and unable to attend these last few major events and thus chase those points, Shane has decided not to just keep that $30,000 for himself, but to graciously give half of the prize money to that season-long frontrunner. So how about it for not just a great horseman, but a great sport as well. Give Shane some credit. Though he earns the victory in the class and the $30,000 in bonus, he is gracious enough to share that prize with one of America's greats, again, Margie Engel. Thanks again to Captive One for their support of our rider bonus. They're a family of companies that assess, form, and manage captive insurance companies. With a captive insurance company that you own, instead of paying premiums to a commercial carrier, you pay premiums to your captive. Money not utilized or paid in claims stays in reserves, can be invested, and may become profit in your captive. You can find out more online at CaptiveOne.com. Again, it's Shane Sweetenham who takes that prize and will share the glory with Margie Engel. We're also going to have several of these riders join us here on the event level so you can meet those riders for autographs. You can also see up close and personal exactly how challenging this course was today. The height and width of the jumps, exactly what it took to overcome the Alan Wade design course and to get through to that second round, and why only 3 riders were able to navigate their steeds to that finish line without penalty. We again salute those riders, Shane McLean and Lacey Gilbertson, and we hope that all of you who are still with us will come down to that event level so that we can give you a chance to check out the jumps and meet those riders up close and personal. For all of us who have been with you throughout the course of the season, we so much appreciate your attendance, whether it be as a competitor or a spectator. You have been a major part of making the 2022 season a success here in Traverse City, and as always, we look forward to having you back as we continue to grow bigger and better, and not just to have top-notch sport, but to be a big driving force of positive events here in the northern Michigan area. One of the reasons that we, of course, play a role in all of those charities, including Accelerate the Cure, who have been our beneficiaries this weekend, is because we do want to make that positive difference. We appreciate you. We look forward to having you back, and until then, we offer you safe travels and hope to see you not too long down the road.
We have a new leader.